Chapter 1. In the world of ice and snow, the cold wind was howling. In the endless world of white snow, Su Yen was traveling alone, carrying a heavy travel bag. He had already traveled more than 10 kilometers, and only felt tired when night fell. Su Yan's physique was very good, and it was related to his year-round practice of martial arts to strengthen his body. After a short rest, he arrived at his destination. "I'm here again. It's been 3 years and this time I must reach the top." Su Yan's black eyes were bright and spirited as he looked at the end of the horizon. There was a snow mountain towering, reaching into the sky, magnificent and majestic. Looking at the undulating snow mountain, Su Yen realized that Mount Everest was more magnificent than before. He suddenly had an irrepressible urge to climb the snow mountain immediately. This was an emotional impulse that came from the heart. Every time he came to Mount Everest, it was like embarking on a journey back home. Su Yen was about to graduate from university. In the past few years, he had climbed Mount Everest more than 10 times, and all of them ended in failure. The first time, he even almost lost his life due to lack of preparation. Fortunately, a kind old Tibetan saved him. Su Yen took a deep breath and went to a small village nearby. The temperature was more than 20 degrees below zero, and few villagers came out to walk. Su Yen found the old Tibetan's residence, and pushed the door open to walk in. There was only some simple furniture in the house. When the old Tibetan saw Su Yen, he laughed heartily and quickly took out a sumptuous meal to entertain him. After the meal, Su Yen drank a cup of hot tea and felt warm all over. He exhaled a breath of cold air and looked at the old Tibetan with a smile. "This is almost my second home." Su Yen would stay here for a period of time every year. Later on, the granddaughter of the old Tibetan became his junior. This was fate. Latest report: the altitude of Mount Everest has broken through 12,000 meters. After research, the news suddenly broadcasted on the old television made Su Yen fall into deep thought. He did not comment on the details of the news report. Although the mad scientist had been researching the secrets of Mount Everest day and night for the past 3 years, there was still no result. In the past 3 years, the altitude of Mount Everest had increased from 8,000 meters to 12,000 meters, shocking the entire world. The latest technology could only detect that the snow mountain was still growing. The specific reason was still unknown. Some people speculated that there was life on Mount Everest. "I feel like it's alive," Su Yen could not help but mutter to himself. Moreover, the time of Mount Everest's mutation was extremely similar to the time when he climbed the mountain. How childish. Even if Mount Everest is really related to your background, you can't really be Sun Wukong who jumped out of a stone, right? A clear and cold voice suddenly sounded out from outside the door, and a woman with a graceful figure pushed open the door and walked in. Her jet-black hair hung down to her waist, her eyes were very large, her skin was snow-white and tender, her face was oval-shaped, and her entire body emitted a unique and cold aura that attracted the attention of others. Isi. Su Yen regained his senses and looked at Isi Yun. This was the granddaughter of the old Tibetan. He smiled bitterly and said, "I'm just saying. I'm afraid of being laughed at by others." Isi Yun responded bluntly. This was the famous ice beauty in the school. Perhaps because of the old Tibetan, she had a very close relationship with Su Yen, which made the other students very jealous. Isi Yun's eyes also secretly glanced at Su Yan's clean face. She felt an inexplicable sense of closeness to Su Yen, who was not very good-looking and came from an ordinary family. Otherwise, she would not have chosen to go to the same university as Su Yen. The old Tibetan at the side looked at them with a smile, then sighed and said, "Little flame, you don't have to be too stubborn. Although the relics your parents left for you are related to the snow mountain, it's too difficult to climb to the peak of the snow mountain." Hearing this, Su Yen lowered his head in silence. His heart was full of bitterness, and his fists were slightly clenched. He was an orphan and grew up with his adoptive parents. For more than 20 years, Su Yan had always wanted to find out his background, find his parents, and ask them why they were so cruel to abandon him. But the only clue pointed to Mount Everest. No matter what, I want to go up and have a look. Su Yan's slender hand touched the crystal pendant on his neck that he had worn for more than 20 years. In the crystal pendant, he could clearly see a miniature version of Mount Everest. His name was also engraved on the pendant. This was probably the only relic his parents left for him. This was also the reason why Su Yan had been persistently climbing the snow mountain for 3 years. It was very quiet in the house. The old Tibetan was helpless and did not know how to comfort Su Yan. "I'll help you." At this moment, a clear and cold voice broke the silence, causing warmth to surge out from Su Yan's heart. His face was also brimming with a smile. He raised his head and looked at the lady who had stood up and walked towards her room. She always did not reveal her emotions in front of others, including him. Although Yun was a girl, she grew up in a world of ice and snow. It could be said that she was very familiar with Mount Everest. The old Tibetan wanted to say something, but in the end, he did not speak. He felt that his granddaughter had grown up and would not interfere with her decision. The next day before dawn, a tall man came to the small village. He looked a little embarrassed, but his appearance was refined, giving people a feeling of a spring breeze. Su Yan smiled bitterly as soon as he entered the house. "Su Yan, Yun, I'm here. It's really hard to find here." Su Yan and Zu Yan were classmates. He was a popular figure in the academy. His family was also well off, and he liked mountain climbing. Zu Yan and Su Yan had teamed up many times and climbed many famous mountains and rivers. The two of them had a good relationship. Zu Yan's arrival also brought a lot of high-tech equipment. Su Yan felt that this trip would be very smooth. The mountain climbing plan was also planned by Zu Yan, and they had done a lot of homework for it. Because they had a prior agreement, Su Yan and the rest did not stay long. They left after breakfast. "Why does this person look a little familiar?" The old Tibetan watched them leave. He kept frowning. From the first time he saw Zu Yan, the old Tibetan felt that he was a little familiar. "Right." The old Tibetan suddenly stood up and took out an old wooden box from the house. There was an old photo and a yellowed notebook inside. The person in the photo was a little blurry, but the overall appearance was too similar to Zu Yan. The old Tibetan found it hard to believe. Could Zu Yan be this person's descendant? As for the content recorded in the notebook, it was unforgettable for the old Tibetan. It was left behind by his grandfather. There was once a mysterious expedition team that stayed at his grandfather's house for 5 whole years. During that time, they climbed the snow mountain hundreds of times. They seemed to be looking for something. One day, the leader of the expedition team, the person in the photo, was drunk. He said that there was a huge underground space under the snow mountain that contained endless energy. It was the core of the earth. "I don't know if it's good or bad." The old Tibetan walked to the door and stared at the undulating snow mountain at the end of the horizon. There was an inexplicable sense of uneasiness in his heart. Mount Everest was now a tourist attraction. At this moment, a large number of tourists were chatting and laughing as they rushed to the destination. The morning sun shone down and shone on the snow mountain. It became majestic and spectacular as if it was really alive. It emitted rays of sunlight and golden splendor. For a moment, it was as majestic as a giant pyramid. The tourists were amazed and felt that they had made the right choice to come. "It's really a magical snow mountain." Zu Yan smiled and said, "I don't know when we can dig out the secret of the snow mountain. But I have a feeling that we will have a different journey." "Different?" Su Yan looked at the snow mountain and said firmly, "Let's get started. I hope we can go up in 2 days." Yun was cold and beautiful. She looked at Su Yan with her beautiful eyes. A trace of determination flashed in her eyes. She wanted to help Su Yan. Time passed slowly. When the red sun set in the west, after a day had passed, Su Yen and the others had long since disappeared without a trace. When night was about to fall, the last group of tourists who stayed behind were terrified. Mount Everest had changed strangely. The snow on the mountain was as if it was dyed with a layer of bright red blood. It was ferocious and poignant. The reflected light turned the starry sky into a pale red color. Some people rubbed their eyes and felt that they were seeing things. What's going on? Some tourists stammered and did not know what to say. The Tibetans at the foot of the mountain were inexplicably excited. They kowtowed to the snow mountain devoutly and called out to their goddess. Jumu in Tibetan meant goddess. Look, it's unbelievable! The legend is true. It has appeared again. The world's first miracle was constantly monitored by the Huaxia government. The satellite images sent to various major mysterious organizations caused a huge sensation. According to some unverifiable records, such a situation had happened during the War of Resistance. The majestic snow mountain looked as if it was poured with blood. It was a shocking scene that made people feel suffocated. Suddenly, the snow mountain roared on its own. It seemed to be awakened. It was like a demon was roaring. A terrifying force emerged and scattered the clouds in all directions. It almost caused a huge earthquake. Look, oh my God, look! Someone lost control and roared. They saw streaks of blood-red light spurting out from the top of the mountain and rushing into the sky. The stars in the sky were dyed red like blood. The satellites in space were annihilated by the impact of the energy. This sudden and strange change made the tourists' pupils dilate. They were all dumbfounded, as if they were petrified. Motherf ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************$ $$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$$ His legs did not listen to him. He rolled and crawled as he ran for his life. A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples. The tourists fled in all directions. Some of the bolder ones quickly took pictures. However, no one saw the 3 blurry figures standing at the peak of the snow mountain. The majestic snow mountain made them look extremely terrifying. They looked like demons in myths and legends. Su Yan and the rest were even more flustered than the tourists because they were the ones standing there. When they were climbing the snow mountain, they were pulled up by a strange force. Yun was already paralyzed in Su Yan's arms. Her face was pale and she was trembling. After all, she was a girl. Only Su Yan's strong body could give her a sense of safety. What's going on? Su Yan's blood was boiling and burning. A mysterious substance was about to awaken in his mind, giving him a splitting headache. Ah! Su Yan screamed in pain. A force exploded in his mind, almost causing him to faint. It was like a key had exploded, opening up something hidden between heaven and earth. The moment it appeared, it attracted Su Yan's attention. Coffin! Su Yan's hair stood on end. He saw a blood-red giant coffin slowly appear in the sky above the snow mountain. It was simple and desolate, as heavy as the sky. There were many golden words engraved on the body of the blood-red coffin. Each word was simple and dim, as if they were about to disappear under the erosion of time. Su Yan could clearly recognize some of them. They were Zhongding script, the Zhongding script of ancient China. His legs did not listen to him, and he walked towards the coffin. Su Yan seemed to have lost his soul. There was a force in his blood that supported him to move forward. Su Yan, come back quickly. Yun looked at Su Yan in fear. At this moment, Su Yan was walking in the air, as if he was walking on flat ground. He was even walking towards the blood-red coffin. The blood-red coffin was filled with a mysterious power, attracting Su Yan step by step. He even reached out his hand involuntarily, touched the lid of the coffin, and pushed with all his might. Divine Dragon! Su Yan could not help but be stunned. He saw a divine dragon leap out from the coffin. Its whole body was golden, as if it was made out of gold. It was filled with a heavy metallic feeling. It was very small, only as thick as an arm. There were 2 red horns on its forehead. Strands of golden light slowly drifted down from its body, illuminating the blood-red sky in an instant. The true dragon soared into the sky, looking down at the heavens. This was the five-clawed golden dragon in ancient Chinese mythology, the symbol of the Yen Huang totem. Its physical body was emitting an aura that caused the surroundings to undulate. It was like a sudden clap of thunder. The fleeing people at the foot of the snowy mountain were all paralyzed on the ground. This was an irresistible force that made them feel like their bodies were being torn apart. Their hearts were filled with fear, and they did not dare to look up. The dragon soared through the 9 heavens, dancing in the heavenly wind. The world of ice and snow was about to be overturned. The stars in the sky were rustling, as if everything was about to soar with the true dragon. Boom! The true dragon raised its head and swallowed. The heavens shook and the earth shook. The entire Milky Way was rumbling. The countless stars rotated and rearranged as if they were preaching the Tao. Even the whole universe seemed to be trembling with the true dragon's breath. For a moment the sun and moon sank. The scene was monstrous. Suddenly, the true dragon swooped down from the heavens. The golden bell inscriptions carved on the blood-red coffin were separated from the body of the coffin and were swallowed by it. How could it disappear? Zhu Yan was still immersed in the mysterious words, unable to extricate himself. He had not finished reading them all, and now they had all disappeared. Su Yan stared at the true dragon with horrified eyes. The true dragon returned and escaped into the blood-red coffin. Instinctively, he looked inside the blood-red coffin. The first thing he saw was a bottomless abyss of chaos. However, there were wisps of aura in the abyss, which made Su Yan's blood boil. It was as if it was going to flow in reverse. His heart thumped loudly. Impossible! The second thing he saw was the abyss of chaos dissipating. The scene that replaced it made Su Yan's scalp tingle. It was as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Chapter 2. Earth New Era Base 9. Impossible! The uncontrollable voice suddenly exploded in the quiet classroom, as if it was going to tear apart everyone's eardrums. The voice came too suddenly. Even Mr. Giada, who was giving a lecture on the podium, was startled by the voice. The other students were also shocked. They took a deep breath and had a bad premonition. They lowered their heads. Who didn't know Mr. Giada's temperament? Disturbing his class? That person must be tired of living, not to mention daring to make such a voice. Impossible, impossible, but the uncontrollable voice continued to appear in the classroom. Giada's face was so livid that it almost turned into the color of a pig's liver. The black hair on his head stood on end, almost emitting black smoke. He could not tolerate anyone interrupting his lecture, not to mention that this was the most serious incident in history. At this moment, a student suddenly stood up from the last row of the classroom. His breathing was rapid, his face was pale, and his eyes were full of fear. He pushed open the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin and saw the legendary True Dragon. However, the person buried with the True Dragon looked exactly like him. Su Yan couldn't forget that pale face. It was as if it was floating in front of his eyes. Su Yan's heart was pounding. He was panting heavily. Suddenly, his head buzzed. Wave after wave of excruciating pain hit him. His head was hurting. Cold sweat broke out on Su Yan's forehead. Many unfamiliar memories surged in one after another, causing Su Yan to have a splitting headache. The unfamiliar surroundings made him even more flustered. What's going on? What is this place? Bastard! Giada roared angrily. But Su Yan didn't listen to him. Giada was so angry that he smashed the podium and left in a huff. This terrifying destructive power made the students gasp. Oh no, this Su Yan is courting death. It wasn't easy for teacher Giada to explain martial arts to us, but now he has left in a fit of anger. There's only a month left before the big exam. 90% of the students were wailing in despair. Crazy, this is crazy. The students cursed and left the classroom. No one would pay attention to Su Yan. Everyone in the Ice Snow Academy knew the name of Su Yan. He had awakened, but in the past 2 years, he had been crazy. He often talked nonsense. This time, he actually roared in the classroom. What happened? Where am I? Is this a dream? Su Yen breathed heavily and forced himself to calm down. He sat weakly in his chair. The memories that had appeared in his mind almost caused him to go insane. He tried his best to digest these memories, but his body was emitting cold air. He was frightened once again. The new era, 100 years. Where the hell is this place? Is it still Earth? Su Yen frantically touched the pendant hanging around his neck. He heaved a sigh of relief. It was still there. This is not transmigration. I am still me, but who am I now? He tried his best to digest the memories. He had even seen the evolution of myth. What bizarre event could be more serious than the Snow Mountain experience? When he finished digesting these memories, Su Yen had goosebumps all over his body. 100 years had passed. 100 years. Am I over 100 years old now? Su Yan's scalp was numb. He hurriedly looked at his hands. They were tight and delicate without any trace of aging. His hands trembled as he picked up the mirror on the table next to him. Looking at the person in the mirror, Su Yen opened his mouth so wide that he could swallow a goose egg. The person in the mirror was too familiar. He had a handsome face, black eyes and black hair. At this moment, his pupils were filled with disbelief, because this was his face when he was 17 or 18 years old. Su Yan's hands trembled as he touched his face. He was suffocating. He had actually become 5 or 6 years younger. How could this be? What happened in the past? 100 years ago, the end of the world. Su Yen was horrified. 100 years ago, the end of the world had happened. According to the calculation of time, the end of the world had happened on the second day after the opening of the dragon coffin on the Snow Mountain. Compared to the time when he climbed Mount Everest, who could forget the end of the human world? It had long been included in the history curriculum. 100 years ago, the Earth was like a cage with its shackles opened. The invisible force of the universe attacked the entire Earth. Countless ordinary people died tragically because they could not withstand the pressure of the cosmic force. This was an era of mass extinction. The total population of the world dropped sharply, and more than half of them died. After the first day of the end of the universe, a group of people survived. Their bodies mutated and became abnormally strong. These people were called the Awakened. Later, after research, it was discovered that a mysterious energy had appeared on Earth. People could absorb this energy to strengthen their bodies. After being strengthened by this energy, the body's hardness was comparable to steel. Human mutation, the Awakened. Su Yen gasped. His eyes widened as he said in a trembling voice, Isn't this the divine devil civilization? The humans were so strong that they could topple mountains and overturn seas. This is unbelievable. Oh my God, the Earth has become like this. However, this was just the beginning. The mutated humans and beasts were even stronger. All the cities were attacked by beasts. All kinds of weapons could not cause fatal damage to the beast. Even the most powerful weapons could not destroy the beast. The most important thing was that the beasts grew too fast. In just a month, bullets could not penetrate the beast's fur. Even when they mutated, they also developed high intelligence and launched group attacks on the humans again and again. In a year of darkness, countless humans were killed by the beasts every day. More than half of the cities were occupied by the beast. Until a year later, the awakened human powerhouses united and established the Huaxia Alliance. They built steel bases to resist the beasts, so that the human race could barely survive. The war between the humans and the beasts continued for 50 years without stopping. During that era, the human race suffered too much. Countless beasts often attacked the bases, and a large number of powerhouses sacrificed their lives for this. In every war era, there were hot-blooded and loyal people who sacrificed their lives. They slaughtered their way out of the Huaxia Alliance's life and death situation, sacrificing their lives heroically to protect the human race. After 50 years, the human race had become very strong. They built 10 steel bases, but they could only barely survive. They could not destroy the beast's forces. In the 60th year of the apocalypse, the situation was reversed. Zhu Yan was like a god turning the tide. He massacred one beast city after another, and the whole world trembled. His strength made the beast's army suffocate. The beast kings that once dominated the world were slaughtered by him one after another. Zhu Yan's appearance shocked the entire human race. He was respectfully called the strongest god of war. The god of war's strength made the beasts not dare to attack the human cities. Humans obtained peace, and there were no major wars in the past 40 years. After 40 years of development, the human race established the Huaxia city. It was the place where the elites of the human race gathered. Only the awakened had the qualifications to enter the Huaxia city. Now, there were only 2 alliances left in the world. One was the Huaxia Alliance, and the other was the Western Alliance. The 2 alliances rarely interacted with each other because they were separated by the ocean. However, the strongest person in the world was recognized as the god of war Zhu Yan. He was so terrifying that the Western Alliance felt suffocated. Zhu Yan. The 2 words seemed to weigh more than 10,000 pounds. Zhu Yan was horrified. He could not help but recall the person who planned the Mount Everest trip, Zhu Yan. Could it be that they have the same name? Zhu Yan panicked. It was too bizarre. The key was that he had lost his 100 years of memories. How could he have regained his youth? His memories started from 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he was brought here by the mysterious dean of the Ice-Snow Academy. After that, he was muddle-headed because his memories did not awaken. Until today. The end of the universe. Zhu Yan's face suddenly turned pale. He clenched his fists and his whole body was trembling. Zhu Yan still had his adoptive parents. It was as if the heavens were playing a joke on him. He had always wanted to see the relics left behind by his biological parent. The funny thing was that when his adoptive parents needed him the most, Zhu Yan was not by their side. Dad, Mom, sister. Zhu Yan felt like a knife was being twisted in his heart. His eyes were red. He still had a sister. When he climbed Mount Everest, his sister, Su Bingshuang, had just entered university. As for Zhu Yan going to Mount Everest every year, he only told his sister. He was afraid that his adoptive parents would be worried, so he did not tell them where he went. However, 100 years had passed. The world had changed. How were they now? 100 years, 100 years, how could this be? Zhu Yan's hand grabbed his hair. His whole body was trembling. 100 years. Although the average lifespan of human society was 150 years, 100 years ago, his adoptive parents were almost 60 years old. Zhu Yan did not dare to imagine. The end of the universe, and more than half of the world's population had died. Would his family be the lucky ones? What happened on Mount Everest? Is this the era of the divine devil civilization? Zhu Yan was terrified. He could not adapt to suddenly appearing in this era. He tried to calm down, but he realized that something was wrong. Mount Everest caused such a huge commotion back then. Why were there no historical records? God of War Zhu Yan. Suddenly, Zhu Yan turned his head. His gaze pierced through the window and landed on the academy's gate. A sacred and solemn stone statue stood at the gate. It was golden all over. Under the sunlight, it shone brightly, like a god descending to the mortal world. Zhu Yan. Zhu Yan stood up. His calm heart was in turmoil. He could clearly see the outline of the god of war and the face of the hero. It was Zhu Yan's former classmate, the mastermind of Mount Everest, Zhu Yan. He looked exactly the same as he did 100 years ago. However, there was a peerless elegance in his eyes. Zhu Yan gasped. Zhu Yan was now the god of war. Back when they climbed Mount Everest together, Su Yan had lost his 100 years of memories. On the other hand, Zhu Yan had become the god of war. Staring at Zhu Yan's stone statue, Su Yan had the urge to find Zhu Yan immediately and find out the reason for all this. However, he slowly sat down as soon as he lifted his foot. A chill ran down his spine. Everything was too bizarre. What happened on Mount Everest back then? Who can tell me what happened? And EC, where are you? Su Yan smiled bitterly. What did I go through? Who can tell me? He searched his memories. 3 years ago, it was the mysterious Dean who brought him here. He did not know who the Dean was. He had no memory of anything before that. Snow Mountain Dragon Coffin. Everything started when I opened the coffin. Thinking about the person inside the coffin who looked exactly like him, Su Yan's expression was pained. His entire arm suddenly burned as if it was on fire. Su Yan took off his shirt without caring about his image. However, his arm was full of strength. This is Chapter 3. Where did it go? Su Yan's pupils shrank. He had clearly seen a real dragon on his arm, but now it had disappeared. Ever since the opening of the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin, Su Yan had seen this dragon. His current bizarre experience might have had a great connection with this dragon. Su Yan gradually calmed down. Thinking about what he had experienced in the past few years, Su Yan had been born with a strong physique 100 years ago. Even 3 to 5 people were not his match. In this new era, it could be said that Su Yan's body was also very strong. He was definitely an awakened one. What was awakening? As the name implied, it was to break the original limit of life and unlock the potential of the human body. The human body could absorb the energy of heaven and earth and become stronger, gaining superhuman strength. Su Yan could feel the explosive power in his body, like a volcano about to erupt. That's not right, Su Yan thought. In the past, there had been a faint tattoo on his shoulder, but a few months ago, he could see the outline of the tattoo. This dragon, is it in my arm? Su Yan was dumbfounded. He knew about the Qilin arm, but now he had a real dragon arm? All of this made Su Yan confused. He definitely had some problems that he had not figured out. Immediately, Su Yan thought of his missing parents and his sister. His mood instantly sank to the bottom. No matter what, I have to find out everything. First, I have to find the Dean of the Ice Snow Academy. Maybe I can solve some of the mysteries. After all, it was the Dean who brought me to the academy to cultivate. Su Yan calmed down and thought. But with his current strength, could he really find out what had happened that year? There were too many mysteries. Su Yan's head was about to explode. Su Yan, you have to get stronger now. Su Yan clenched his fists. He felt that he was living in a world where the strong preyed on the weak. His intuition told him that the changes on Earth had something to do with the snow mountain. Kid, watch where you're going. Su Yan didn't notice that he had bumped into someone. It was as if he had bumped into a bear. He staggered and almost fell. The tall youth in white training clothes glared at Su Yan. Su Yan could faintly feel the power erupting from his body, as if he wanted to tear apart a wild beast. My apologies. Su Yan apologized and left in a hurry. This brat, is he asking for a beating? The arrogant and tall youth was instantly angered. Did he not know who he was? Do you think an apology is enough? Gao Hua, this person is the Academy's famous Su Yan. A young girl beside the tall youth sneered, attracting the attention of the surrounding people. Su Yan was a famous person. So it was him. Gao Hua spat out a mouthful of saliva and scolded, "What bad luck! I was almost knocked down by him just now. Who does he think he is? Do you think he can just apologize and let it go?" There were more than 30,000 students in the entire Ice Snow Academy. They all knew Su Yan's name. 3 years ago, he was a famous person in the academy. The academy focused on training him and gave him the title of core member. He was the first one. In the entire Ice Snow Academy, there were only about 300 core members. However, Su Yan's strength had been stagnant all these years. The teachers gradually became disappointed with him. After all, Su Yan was the last of the core members. It was difficult for him not to be famous. He is a core member like you. The young girl covered her mouth and laughed. Like me? Gao Hua's face changed. Shame was written all over his face. This was simply humiliating him. Gao Hua's expression didn't surprise the surrounding people. He would certainly be an elite in the future. He would enjoy endless glory and wealth. As for Su Yan, although he was also a hunter, the two were simply incomparable. One was the future of the upper class, while the other was the lowest social parasite. Thinking about it made people sigh. They also had the same fate as Su Yan. The exam was the day that would decide their fate. It was already in front of them. So, I, Su Yan, am now a cripple? Along the way, people were pointing at him. Su Yan even heard some of Gao Hua's words. He was very unhappy. 100 years ago, he was considered a famous person in the academy. He was also a sports expert. But now, he was looked down upon by his classmates? He was always unwilling to admit defeat. Suddenly, his heart was filled with enthusiasm. When it came to fighting, Su Yan was never afraid of anyone. Su Yan was clear about his own cultivation problem. The energy in his body was always inexplicably disappearing. As long as he could solve this problem, becoming stronger would not be a problem. His keen sense was related to the dragon totem on his arm. These buildings are really hard. They are all made of steel. Along the way, Su Yan inspected the Ice Snow Academy. The whole academy was as big as 10 football fields. It was cold and steely. This kind of building could not be easily destroyed by wild beasts. Even so, the 9th base was often attacked by wild beasts. In the entire China Alliance, only China City was the safest place. The 10 bases were built around China City. However, only hunters were qualified to enter China City. Each base had tens of millions of residents. Obviously, awakening was the threshold to enter the upper-class society. Once you failed, your future would be bleak. Arriving at the student dormitory, Su Yan found his room. He pushed open the door. It was a small room less than 10 square meters. However, this was already the best dormitory in the academy. Only the core members could live in a single dormitory. Comrade Su Yan, the living conditions are very difficult. Su Yan smiled helplessly. There was only some simple furniture in the dormitory. He took off his shoes and sat on the bed. His eyes flashed with expectation. The divine and devil civilization. There were too many people who yearned for this era. The world is changing. There is a mysterious energy between heaven and earth. People can absorb it to strengthen their body and break through the limits of life. This energy is called the essence of heaven and earth. The first step of cultivation is awakening. If the awakening is successful, the human body will mutate and unlock its potential. It will absorb the essence of heaven and earth and become stronger. Normally, if the awakening is successful, the person will have the strength of 10 horses. Oh my God! Su Yan looked at the training manual. His eyes were wide open. The strength of 10 horses? Now, people called the strength of one horse 100 pounds. Then, 10 horses would be 1,000 pounds. What kind of concept was that? One punch would have the strength of 1,000 pounds. Wouldn't that make him a humanoid monster? Su Yan looked at the manual carefully. It was only for ordinary awakening masters. The peak of awakening masters, according to the manual, had the strength of 100 horses. Su Yan was shocked. 10,000 pounds of strength in one punch? I am the weakest among the awakened ones. Su Yan smiled bitterly. The weakest awakened ones were at most a little stronger than ordinary people. However, once awakened, they could continuously absorb the essence of heaven and earth to become stronger. Su Yan was an exception. Hold your breath and concentrate. Circulate the qi around your body. Feel the heaven and earth. Absorb the energy. Su Yan looked at the training process carefully. He soon tried it. He closed his eyes and relaxed his body. In the darkness, Su Yan's hearing improved a lot. Faintly, Su Yan felt that there was a mysterious energy between heaven and earth. His heart was shocked. It was unbelievable. In the past, he had to sit for at least half an hour to feel the essence of heaven and earth. But now, he could feel it in a short while. He felt that his spirit was strong and full. Was it because of the awakening of his memories? Su Yan quickly cleared his mind. Feeling the energy, he began to breathe. He inhaled and exhaled with his mouth and nose. 1. Faintly, the essence of heaven and earth was attracted by his breath. Strands of warm energy began to enter his body through his mouth and nose. Su Yan could clearly feel that the moment the energy entered his body, it was as if his body was on fire. His muscles began to tremble with excitement. His body was absorbing the energy and began to become stronger. Su Yan greedily absorbed the essence of heaven and earth, as if he had been starving for countless years. The qi flowed through his body and strengthened his body. The mysterious essence of heaven and earth could be absorbed to strengthen the body. It was a great tonic for the human body. As long as he absorbed it continuously, his body would continue to become stronger. This was the potential of an awakened one. Su Yan could feel his potential. It was like a bottomless pit. He did not reject the essence of heaven and earth. He absorbed it all and refined it all. Ha ha! What a wonderful era of gods and demons! Su Yan was excited. His eyes were filled with anticipation. Who didn't want to become a powerhouse? Who didn't want to soar through the 9 heavens? Who didn't want to step into the universe and compete with the stars? Don't be excited. Steady, steady. Su Yan's lips curved into a smile. He spat out the essence of heaven and earth, refining it into essence. Time flew by. The curtain of night fell and starlight fell. The academy was quiet at night. But there was a dormitory that emitted a gentle light. A figure sat cross-legged on a bed. He was dazzling and had a solemn appearance. He was like a god, his entire body surging with essence energy. Su Yan's absorption of energy was astonishing. His body faintly felt as if it was about to break open a seal and awaken an extremely powerful strength. But at this time, the faint dragon tattoo on Su Yan's arm began to shine like lightning. It sprinkled down a golden divine light, as if a dragon totem was awakening. The more brilliant it was, the weaker the essence energy Su Yan refined was. Damn you! Su Yan cursed. The strength he had painstakingly cultivated had been completely stolen away. The dragon totem shined brightly, sprinkling down a dazzling divine light. This time, the disturbance it caused was even more astonishing. It seemed as if it had absorbed enough energy. The dragon totem had become extremely terrifying. It shook with an ancient and desolate aura, as if it could split apart the heavens and earth. Ong! Su Yan felt as if he could see the roar of an ancient true dragon. Its roar shattered the stars in the sky. The dragon's body pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths, overlooking the blue dome of heaven. 1. Su Yan's ears rang. The piercing pain in his soul nearly caused him to faint. This roar was too real, enough to split apart the heavens and earth. Not only was the roar that shook the soul loud and clear, but it was also accompanied by a massive wave of memories. What was this? Densely packed characters were arranged in Su Yan's soul. For a time, a golden radiance overflowed the heavens. Each character seemed to be cast from gold. There were over 10,000 golden characters that were branded into Su Yan's soul. Zhong Dinwen, it's him. The Zhong Dinwen on the blood-colored coffin. But in the end, Zhong Dinwen was swallowed up by the true dragon. The dragon totem on my arm is definitely related to the true dragon. Su Yan's delicate face was filled with shock. He had studied some of the characters in the past and could confirm that they were the same characters. Could it be that the disappearance of the energy I cultivated in the past was all absorbed by the dragon totem? Now that the dragon totem is strong enough, it is passing on the scriptures to me? That must be it. Su Yan was excited. His current experience was definitely related to the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. The ancient scriptures that were engraved on the blood-colored coffin had now magically appeared in his mind. This was also related to the dragon totem. Initial scripture. When he saw the 3 words in front of him, Su Yan's mind was immersed in it. He studied the scripture and spent an entire night to organize the first part. He was shocked. This was a cultivation technique that guided people's cultivation. Su Yan was a little confused. In the history of the new era on Earth, there was no cultivation technique for awakening cultivation. The awakening manual clearly stated that one had to constantly absorb the essence of heaven and earth to strengthen the body. But now that Su Yan had obtained a cultivation technique, he instinctively felt that this cultivation technique was extremely terrifying. It says that the first realm of cultivation is the initial realm. The new era is called awakening. Could it be that the cultivation system is not perfect? Su Yan was a little excited. The current Earth knew nothing about the divine devil civilization. Humans were still exploring. Although it had been 100 years, humans had only settled down for 30 or 40 years. All of their cultivation experience was gained through exploration. But thinking of this, Su Yan shook his head. The Huaxiao Alliance should have a higher level of cultivation method. This method would not be widely spread. Perhaps one would only be qualified to learn about it after entering a high-level academy. Regardless, Su Yan felt that this scripture was very powerful. Now he could only understand a part of it. He could not understand the rest of the cultivation technique. Just the introduction was very shocking. It described the human body as a part of the universe. The potential of the human body was limitless. It could be unearthed by constantly becoming stronger. The matter of the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin must not be exposed. The divine devil civilization existed on Earth before. The initial scripture is the best proof. Su Yan's face was solemn. Whether it was because of Su Yan or because of the initial scripture, before all of this was clear, he could not tell a second person about the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. Let's see how powerful this scripture is. Su Yan followed the description of the scripture and visualized the firmament, the starry sky, and the great stars in the heavens. The body was like the universe. Su Yan visualized the entire universe. He tried many times. Even with his powerful spiritual power, each visualization was very tiring. Su Yan kept on trying. After an entire day, he succeeded. Boom! His ears roared as if the door to a new world had been opened. From this moment on, Su Yan's blood and qi boiled like a burning furnace. Su Yan's visualization diagram changed. The furnace stood tall in the universe, spewing out the essence of heaven and earth. At this moment, Su Yan's body seemed to have been unshackled. All of his pores opened up, and at the moment of release, the surging essence of heaven and earth was absorbed into Su Yan's body. He was shocked. Without a cultivation technique, he could only breathe in and out through his mouth and nose. Now, all the pores on his body had opened up. His body was like a furnace, spewing out the essence of heaven and earth and seizing the fortune of heaven and earth. This shocked him. This was only the beginning. Once his body became stronger, he would become a furnace, a starry sky divine furnace, spewing out the essence of the stars and the divine power of the stars. At that time, how terrifying would his body be? Could it be even more terrifying than the stars? The dragon totem is here to plunder again. Su Yan's face darkened. The dragon totem was awakening and absorbing the refined energy. Then, he was stunned. He found that the dragon totem had only absorbed the majority of the energy. There was still a small portion left. Although there was only a small portion left, It was still several times faster than his previous cultivation speed. This bandit still knows to leave some for me. Su Yen was speechless. He didn't know what the dragon totem was, so he could only cultivate first. Moreover, he didn't have much resentment towards the dragon totem. This thing couldn't be calculated with common sense. For the time being, he would worship it and see what its origins were. Time passed day after day. Su Yen cultivated without sleep or rest. During this time, he went to look for the dean several times. Unfortunately, the dean hadn't returned for 3 years. Su Yen couldn't help but wonder if the dean's disappearance had something to do with him. The mystery of his own body filled Su Yan's heart with the desire to become stronger. He wanted to understand everything. It was hard for Su Yen to calm down, living in such an unclear manner. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. There wasn't much time left before the final exam. Almost everyone in the Ice-Snow Academy was cultivating hard and listening attentively. Su Yan's Class 6 was very depressed. Every student didn't dare to breathe loudly for fear of angering Mr. Jiada. Mr. Jiada's face was gloomy. Someone was skipping class right before the final exam. Someone actually dared to skip Teacher Jiada's class? Did this student not know how many people were outside the window eavesdropping on his class? In his 20 years of teaching, he had never had a student skip class. This was the result that Jiada was proud of. It was also his reverse scale. It's this trash again. Doesn't he know that I, Jiada, am the best martial artist in the academy? How dare he skip class? The whole class hated Su Yen to death. Everyone could feel Jiada's murderous gaze. They all knew Jiada's temperament. Daring to skip class? Just wait to be taught a lesson. Remember, the final exam is coming soon. Do you understand? The invigilator of this exam is the strongest person in Huaxia University. The whole class was in an uproar. Huaxia University had been established for 90 years. It was the first university in the Huaxia Alliance. It was also the strongest university. Countless heroes emerged from the Doomsday Era. Who didn't want to join Huaxia University? However, the number of students who could enter Huaxia University every year was less than 500. As for the Ice-Snow Academy, since the disappearance of the dean, no one had joined Huaxia University. Super big chapter, there will be more chapters during the new chapter. Brothers, the double monthly votes have begun. I'm begging for monthly votes. I'm already at the top 20 of the monthly votes list. Chapter 4. At this point, Jiada's gloomy face turned a little better. In the afternoon, there will be strong people from Huaxia University coming to inspect the Ice-Snow Academy. He was one of the people who welcomed them. Thinking of the inspection, Jiada's face turned pale. He was in charge of a martial arts class with more than 100 hunters. However, there was one exception, which would become a stain in his teaching history. The worst hunter in the exam would appear in his class. This trash, I must find a way to get him out. I have worked hard for 20 years, and now I finally have the hope of entering an advanced school. How can I fail because of this trash? My future can't be ruined because of this trash. Jiada thought secretly. Thinking that Su Yen was a core member nominated by the dean, and only the dean could expel him, Jiada couldn't help but have a headache. If Su Yen knew Jiada's thoughts, he would be so angry that he would vomit blood. He was a good student, but he had been working hard all night for 7 days and 7 nights. Su Yen didn't know how strong he was now. Although most of his energy was stolen by the dragon totem, the remaining energy was enough for Su Yen to become stronger. Moreover, in the process of practicing the initial scripture, Su Yan's physical potential continued to increase, but it was still not filled yet. So hungry! Su Yen opened his eyes. He was very tired. He touched his stomach and swallowed his saliva. He had the urge to swallow a roast cow. How can I be so hungry? How long have I been in seclusion? When Su Yen stood up, he almost fell to the ground. This made him stunned. He had obviously become stronger. How could he be so weak? Oh no, I almost forgot. Su Yen quickly opened the manual. The manual was very clear. Although people could constantly absorb the energy of heaven and earth to speed up the awakening process. However, during the awakening process, there was a lack of qi and blood to support a strong body. Now Su Yan's blood essence was insufficient, and his meridians were weak. This was the result of breaking the original limit of life without nourishment. Strong but weak. Damn. The more Su Yan read, the more shocked he became. The records were very detailed. If one didn't replenish their blood essence for a long time, their lifespan would rapidly decrease, and they might not even live for more than a few years. Su Yan didn't doubt that he could feel the weakness in his body. Just like a Dali soldier, he would starve to death if he didn't eat for several days and nights. In these 7 days and nights, Su Yan had opened up too much potential. His body hadn't been replenished with blood essence and was lacking in nutrient. I was in too much of a hurry to cultivate. This is troublesome. This also means that the initial sutra is too strong. Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. He pushed the door open and walked out. If he wanted to replenish his blood essence, the fastest way was to eat. Let's talk about ordinary food first, which is more expensive. This was because the territory of the Huaxia Alliance was not big, and there were very few places to grow food. This made food very expensive, let alone meat. Ordinary people could not afford it at all. The wild beasts all over the world had become stronger. To hunt wild beasts for edible meat? Only an awakened master could do that. As for replenishing the blood of the awakened ones, they needed the precious meat of various mutated beasts. However, the price of this meat was sky-high. Ordinary people simply couldn't afford it. Money, what a headache. Where can I get the money to buy meat? Su Yan smiled bitterly. He was penniless. He originally thought that he could increase his strength through cultivation and survive in this society. However, he didn't expect that his life would be in danger now. To break the original limit of life, he also needed to have a certain level of vitality. Su Yan decided to go out and look for a way to replenish his blood essence. The new world is so good. There is no pollution in the sky. Su Yan left the dormitory area. Looking at the blue sky, he couldn't help but stretch his body. Breathing in the fresh air, the tiredness in his body dissipated a lot. He passed by a small garden. The plants were lush and full of vitality. There were many pairs of boys and girls dating in the garden. Walking on the cobblestone path, Su Yan was alone. He was wearing a black training suit. His back seemed a little lonely. Huh! Su Yan's face changed. His arms suddenly transmitted a scorching temperature. It was getting hotter and hotter. Su Yan felt a sharp pain. He said in his heart, I am already like this. Do you still want to absorb the energy in my body? Damn dragon totem, don't you mess around. Su Yan didn't want to be beaten back to his original form. However, the dragon totem was very disobedient and began to cause trouble. Su Yan felt that his arm was about to melt. Damn dragon totem! Su Yan was angry. He quickly left the small garden. He was afraid that the dragon totem would make some noise and attract the attention of others. However, it was very strange. As soon as Su Yan left the small garden, the dragon totem quieted down. What's the situation? Did the great ant come? Dragon totem, can you not cause trouble for me? I have worshipped you for so long and you don't give me any benefits. Su Yan was angry. He loved and hated the dragon totem. Su Yan. A gentle voice suddenly sounded out, carrying with it a trace of hesitation. However, these 2 words attracted the attention of many couples in the small garden. When they saw the woman who spoke, some of the students seemed as if they had been injected with chicken blood. Their eyes shined, causing the faces of their female companions to turn green. On a quiet and secluded path, a young girl stood there. Her skin was snow white and she was beautiful. Her eyes rippled like water and her waist was so small that it seemed as if it couldn't be held. The young girl looked at Su Yan. She was full of curves and her shiny black hair draped over her shoulders. She was around the same age as Su Yan. Even though she was wearing loose, snow-white training clothes, one could still see the contours of her body. It could be said that her curves were undulating. Bai Menjing! The men and women in the small garden all stared at her. She was a famous figure in the academy, and was also the second person to be granted the status of a corps member. Some people even secretly called her elder senior apprentice sister. The main reason was that Bai Menjing was very kind. She often helped some students to awaken, and was not stingy with her experience. Hence, most of the students were very convinced by her. It's really you. Bai Menjing's eyes flashed with joy. She walked toward Su Yan. Her black hair fluttered in the wind as she walked gracefully. It's her. Su Yan found Bai Menjing's memories in his mind. 3 years ago they often cultivated together. The young girl had left a deep impression on him. He could still clearly remember that Su Yan had defeated Bai Menjing many times. However, the young girl had stubbornly climbed up again and again to challenge him to a duel. At that time, Bai Menjing was still very young. She was a very stubborn and kind-hearted girl. Out of courtesy, Su Yan still went up to greet her. However, the moment he stepped into the small garden, the dragon totem began to riot again. I'm sorry. I have something to do. I'll be leaving first. Su Yan almost cursed out loud. He quickly left this place. However, just as he stepped out of the small garden, the dragon totem fell silent again. Su Yan's heart also trembled. This was too strange. There must be a reason for this abnormality. However, when he thought about it, there were too many people here. He shook his head and said, "It seems that I can only come again at night to see what secrets the dragon totem is hiding. Why are you always avoiding me?" Bai Menjing looked at Su Yan with resentful eyes. She muttered in her heart, "I lost to you a total of 8 times. We agreed before that we would fight a 9th time when I came back. How long are you going to make me wait? Can't you let me win even once?" Bai Menjing, who had been talented and intelligent since she was young, had lost to Su Yan a total of 8 times. She was stubborn and could not accept this fact. At that time, Bai Menjing had even given up on defeating Su Yan. Only she knew that Su Yan had already stood at the peak of awakening. He had the strength of 100 horses with a single swing of his arm. How powerful was that? Menjing. A student with a very powerful aura chased after her. It was Xiangyang, who was 17 or 18 years old. He had a dignified appearance, a jade-like face, and a cold and arrogant demeanor. He was an extraordinary person in the Ice-Snow Academy. "Look, it's Xiangyang!" Some girls screamed. Their eyes sparkled. Especially Xiangyang's arrogant and confident demeanor, which made their hearts beat faster. However, when they saw Bai Menjing standing beside Xiangyang, they were all jealous. Bai Menjing and Xiangyang are standing together. This is big news. I heard that Xiangyang has been pursuing Bai Menjing. They are both geniuses of our academy. In the future, they will definitely enter an advanced academy. They might even be qualified to enter Huaxia University. Comparisons are odious. Rumor has it that Xiangyang has the strength of 100 horses. Even the teacher can't beat him. The couples in the small garden were talking. Everyone in the academy knew about Xiangyang and Bai Menjing. Isn't that guy who ran away just now Su Yan? He used to be the senior disciple of the academy. Unfortunately, Su Yan is too weak now. He probably knows the gap between you and him, so he doesn't have the courage to stand with you. Xiangyang chased after Su Yan and said with a smile. He didn't see Su Yan as a rival at all. Bai Menjing frowned. She didn't like what Xiangyang said. However, when she thought about Su Yan's future, she felt sad. She felt that it was not worth it. That's strange. What's going on? Su Yan had already returned to the dormitory. The dragon totem had completely calmed down. But why did it have a fever just now? He had been to the little garden a few times, but this had never happened before. Su Yan thought for a while and said, something is wrong. The initial scripture was given to me by the dragon totem. It won't harm me. Let's go to the little garden later. Su Yan stroked the faint dragon tattoo on his arm. He found that the dragon tattoo was a little brighter than a few days ago. Is it because it swallowed the energy of my cultivation? But what secret is it hiding? At night, the whole ninth base quieted down. Howl. In the wilderness, there were fierce roars of beasts from time to time. On some mountains, some powerful beasts were roaring and swallowing the moon, absorbing the essence of the sun and the moon. At night, the wilderness was very dangerous. Beasts were coming and going, and the smell of blood was everywhere. There were lantern-like ferocious eyes staring at the big base. All the streets were empty, and the doors of all the houses were closed. No one had forgotten that a terrible beast tide broke out 3 years ago, which almost tore the whole ninth base apart. There were more than 30 million residents in the whole ninth base, and all the major checkpoints were guarded by troops. Su Yan had already heard the roars of beasts in the dormitory. He couldn't help but sigh. It has been 100 years. The Huaxiao Alliance must have gone through a period of hardship. Now it is not a peaceful time. If this base is broken, Huaxia City will not be safe. This was the biggest crisis for human beings, so awakening was very important. There were also 10 schools in the ninth base. At the gate of the Ice and Snow School, a group of teachers stood respectfully under the stone statue of Zhu Yan, the god of war, to welcome several distinguished guests. Have you heard that some people from the advanced school of Huaxia City have come to visit our school? They will even reserve a batch of seeds. They can directly enter the advanced school without passing the exam. Tisk tisk, they are here to snatch people. There are many geniuses in our school, and they will definitely be snatched away in advance. They will even promise good treatment. Many students were jealous. They could directly enter the advanced school without passing the exam and enjoy the resources of human society. Who didn't want to have such treatment? Almost all of them are gone. Let's start. Su Yan had already set out before the sky was dark. He quickly came to the small garden, and as expected, the true dragon totem was giving out heat waves again. Let me see what you want to do. Su Yan quickly approached the small garden. The deeper he went, the higher the temperature of the true dragon totem was. Sometimes, the temperature of the true dragon totem would decrease if he deviated from some places. It seemed that the true dragon totem was guiding Su Yan. Suddenly, Su Yan remembered the Mount Everest. When he was close to the Mount Everest, his blood was boiling. Was the true dragon totem guiding him now? It is very likely. When he was close to the lake, Su Yan's arms were almost burning. He grimaced and looked at the rippling lake. It was a man-made lake, and it was hazy with water mist. Is it here? Su Yan walked around the man-made lake. It should be here. As long as he stayed away from the lake, the temperature of the true dragon totem would decrease. Su Yan looked around and found a pair of wild mandarin duck. Looking for excitement. Then I will give them something exciting. Su Yan's mouth was so wide that it almost reached his ears. He laughed. He had encountered this kind of thing before. He still remembered when he was in college. He pretended to be a ghost to scare young men and women looking for excitement in the park. Su Yan sneakily ran over. His gaze pierced through the grass and through the moonlight. He saw a young girl who was almost completely naked. A large patch of her snow-white skin was exposed, causing Su Yan's heart to palpitate. He couldn't help but sigh. In the new era, people's skin was very good. Cosmetics were a thing of the past. Su Yan hid here and peeped for a while. When he heard the sound of rapid panting, Su Yan roared, "Moo!" Roar. His voice was loud and clear, like a big bull roaring angrily, tearing the world apart. Crack! Accompanied by the crisp sound of bones cracking and the girl's scream, the couple in the grass was scared out of their wits. This was the sound of a beast. A beast had broken into the small garden. It can't be broken, right? Unlucky guy, I pray for you on behalf of the moon. The two white guys ran out of the small garden at a shocking speed. Su Yen blamed himself and jumped into the artificial lake. The lake water was very cold, making Su Yan's mind more awake. At this time, Su Yan's face changed. The dragon totem on his arm sprinkled down strands of golden light, which looked very mysterious in the lake. Good guy, luckily I scared them away. If this matter spreads out, it won't do me any good. Su Yen swam down quickly. The lake was not big, and he could see the bottom very quickly. Su Yan's sharp senses discovered that the light from the dragon totem landed on a large, jet-black rock. The big stone had cracked. Su Yen was surprised and happy. The dragon totem was really guiding him. What is this stone? Su Yen raised his hand and touched it. Although his meridians were very weak, his strength was surprisingly strong. However, when he touched the cracked stone, the stone's skin quickly fell off. It was like a naked beauty, appearing in front of Su Yan's eyes. Su Yen was dumbstruck. A stone the size of a fist. It was emitting light, and its whole body was milky white. Su Yen was shocked. He had never seen such a beautiful jade stone. It was even natural, without a trace of impurities. It was like a piece of natural jade, shining brightly and shining on the lake water. Su Yen swallowed his saliva and said in a daze, "It should be able to sell for a lot of money?" Then he realized that the dragon totem had calmed down and was no longer emitting light. Su Yan's eyes were red. He was so excited that his whole body was trembling. What was this? The dragon totem could find treasures, and now it had led him to a kind of treasure. Calm down, calm down. Su Yen took a deep breath. His face was full of excitement, and it was difficult to calm down. What kind of treasure is this? Su Yen could feel that the jade contained a very thick and strong source of essence energy. The energy contained within the jade shocked Su Yen. He stared at the stone and pondered for a while. Then, he clenched his fist. It was different from what he had imagined. Su Yen was unable to draw out the energy contained within the jade. Su Yen was anxious. Soon after, his eyes lit up. He immediately operated the initial scripture. The initial scripture's devouring speed was extremely shocking. Su Yan's body was like a burning furnace. The devouring speed was astonishing. A white stream flowed out of the jade and converged into Su Yan's mouth. When he swallowed it, his whole body trembled and his bones began to resonate. Su Yan's weak qi and blood suddenly became strong. At this moment, Su Yen felt as if he had eaten a great tonic. A part of his weak body was instantly restored. Oh my God, what kind of treasure is this? Su Yen was frightened. He was just thinking about how to restore his weak body. But now, the divine energy contained within the jade had such a great effect. Su Yen could even feel that his body's potential had been activated under the cleansing of this extremely pure Genesis Qi. Su Yan's hands were trembling. Priceless treasure, this was a priceless treasure. Ha ha ha, I'm rich. Su Yen was indescribably excited. The corners of his mouth once again widened to his ears as he laughed silently. And what was a piece of jade? According to legends, the dragon race loved to collect all kinds of treasures. They guarded all kinds of sparkling treasures every day. Now, the dragon totem on his arm had the ability to find treasures. It guided Su Yen to excavate the treasures. Not good, someone is coming. Su Yan's heart trembled. He hurriedly put the jade away. Fortunately, the light it emitted was not strong, and his clothes could cover it. Although he was in the water, with Su Yan's current strength, it was not a big problem for him to hold his breath for a while. Su Yen heard a lot of noises. He could vaguely hear words related to wild beasts. Su Yen patted his head in annoyance. Maybe it was because he pretended too well that he attracted some people's attention. Wild beasts entering the school was not a small matter. Su Yen lay dormant in the small lake. He did not dare to say anything. He was going to wait until they left. It's here. There were some people near the artificial lake. Most of them were teachers of the school. Gao Hua's face was red and white. His female companion was too embarrassed to face anyone. They ran out naked and bumped into the teachers on the spot. Bumping into the students was not a big deal, but bumping into the teachers made Gao Hua want to find a piece of tofu to kill himself. Jiada's face was twisted. The glorious image of the Ice Snow Academy had been ruined by them. How could they run out naked in the middle of the night? What a scandal! Mr. Jiada, you've really opened our eyes today. An old man laughed at Jiada. Jiada almost fainted from anger. But he still smiled apologetically and said, "Well, young people, it's understandable that they are under a lot of pressure from studying." Gao Hua was shocked. Who was Jiada? He was one of the most outstanding martial artists in the school. He was always hot-tempered, but now he was nodding and bowing. Where did these people come from? Ha ha! The old man shook his head and laughed. It's impossible for wild beasts to enter the school. Someone must be playing tricks. Are they waiting for us to catch them? All right, I guess they've already finished running. Let's go first. We're a little late today, so we won't stay any longer. Jiada and the others were anxious. The Ice Snow Academy used to be the top school in the 9th base. But since the disappearance of the dean 3 years ago, many teachers were poached by other schools. Because of this, the Ice Snow Academy's enrollment rate was at the bottom. In recent years, not a single student was admitted to Huaxia University. This time, there were more than 10 teachers from the Ice Snow Academy. They were led by a young man in a silver robe. His expression was cold. He looked down at the crowd and nodded. Jiada and the others sighed. They couldn't stop them. The big shots of Huaxia University nodded. Let's go. Su Yan was relieved. He felt that it was about time. He swam upstream. Wait! When he was about to leave the small garden, the young man in the silver robe stopped. His eyes flashed with a trace of disdain. He said coldly, "Interesting." Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, 2 silver beams of light flashed out of his eyes. The light was so bright that even the dark garden was lit up. Jiada trembled. What a scary young man. The 2 silver beams seemed to be able to cut open the sky. Someone's here. Chapter 5. Su Yan was shocked. How did he find out? Did this guy have a needle's eye? Who is this guy? His aura is so strong. He is not a teacher of the academy. He should be a master from the outside world. He is only in his 20s, but he is so much stronger than Jiada. Is he a master from the human society? The young man in the silver robe was only in his 20s, but his aura was very scary. He looked down at Su Yan like a god looking at a little beggar. Jiada almost despaired when he saw the man crawling out of the artificial lake. Why is this trash here? Hasn't he made enough of a joke today? Su Yan. Gao Hua's face and neck turned red. Could it be that Su Yan was the one who played tricks just now? Hey, Mr. Jiada, why are you here? Su Yan pretended to be surprised and said, Are you here to take a bath too? It is quite cool here. Do you want to come down and take a bath together? The faces of the teachers from the Snow Academy darkened. Doesn't he know what day it is? Doesn't he know where these people come from? Taking a bath here? The headlines tomorrow will be a group of old men from the Snow Academy doing something with their naked buttock. Shut up. I will teach you a lesson when we get back. Jiada's face was livid. He had been angered by Su Yan for the past few days. In the morning, he was still thinking of ways to expel Su Yan. Now, he was caught by a group of teachers from the Snow Academy. But now, Jiada had to suppress his anger. He quickly bowed to the teachers from the Snow Academy and said, Please excuse us. He is also a student of our academy. Oh, by the way, teachers, we have booked a table at the Jufeng restaurant. If you have nothing else to do, please go directly to the Jufeng restaurant. The few old men smiled. They did not want to embarrass Jiada. When they were about to turn and leave, the young man in the silver robe looked down at Su Yan and said, Wait a minute. Jiada and the others were stunned. The young man in the silver robe said in a commanding tone, "Come here." Su Yen frowned. He was very unhappy with his tone. With his nose in the air, who was the one who was so arrogant? "Who are you? I don't think our academy has a teacher like you." "How dare you?" Like a tiger whose tail had been stepped on, Jiada angrily said, "Su Yen, come here immediately." He is the Tao Tianhua of Huaxia University. Tao Tianhua, Gao Hua, who had always been arrogant, almost fell to the ground. He looked at Tao Tianhua with admiration. This was the pride of the Huaxia alliance, Tao Tianhua. Tao Tianhua enjoyed Gao Hua's admiring gaze. He clasped his hands behind his back and exuded an imposing aura. His expression was proud and aloof. After all, he was highly regarded by war god Zhu Yan. Since his identity had been revealed, Tao Tianhua put on airs. He did not even look at Su Yen and waited for him to come forward to worship him. He knew his students too well. They treated him like a god. "Tao Tianhua, I have never heard of you." Su Yen thought for a while. He did not know who this person was. Jiada wanted to skin Su Yen alive. This trash did not even know who Tao Tianhua was. Tao Tianhua's expression changed. How could there be people who did not know who he was? If it was 100 years ago, he would be a superstar. How could there be people who did not know of his name, Tao Tianhua? "Mr. Tao, please don't blame him. This Su Yen is crazy all day long. He even skips classes. I am thinking of ways to expel him. I have embarrassed myself in front of you today," Jiada said with a servile expression. "Mr. Tao Tianhua, I can testify that this Su Yen is indeed crazy. He is the #1 scum of our school. How could he be qualified to talk to you?" Gao Hua walked forward with a fawning expression. He was about to kneel down and worship Tao Tianhua. Tao Tianhua's face was somewhat gloomy as he sneered. "He doesn't have the qualifications to talk to me, but the things on his body do. Brat, there are some things that you can't afford. Hand them over immediately." "Things? What things?" Jiada and the others were stunned. What kind of treasure could Su Yen have that Tao Tianhua would value? Su Yen was shocked. This guy had sensed the treasure in his arms. This thing was related to Su Yan's life. How could he just hand it over? However, Tao Tianhua's tone was as if it was only natural. This made Su Yen furious. This arrogant manner was even scarier than the third fatty from 100 years ago. "Su Yen, did you take Tao Tianhua's thing?" Jiada's expression was gloomy. "If so, hand it over immediately." A piece of trash and Tao Tianhua. Who should he help? Jiada knew the answer even if he used his toes to think. "What? Am I the one who took his treasure? This is ridiculous." Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. His face was ashen. "Even if I have a mountain of gold and silver, it is not yours. You want to rob me openly? Don't forget where you are." The old man from the university was puzzled. What did Su Yen get? However, Tao Tianhua did not dare to act recklessly. All the bases forbade fighting, not to mention this was a university. If this matter was exposed, Tao Tianhua would not be able to get away scot-free. "How dare you!" Tao Tianhua's pupils shrank. His pupils were filled with a terrifying aura. Anyone could feel the murderous aura in Tao Tianhua's eyes. His eyes were burning with silver flames. When he was truly angry, even the core members of Huaxia University would not dare to disobey him, let alone Su Yen. "Oh my God, no wonder he is Huaxia University's genius alchemist." Gao Hua was trembling in fear. He felt that Tao Tianhua could directly burn him into a pile of ashes. "Su Yen, you are too presumptuous." Jiada was furious. He strode forward and pointed at him. "What right do you have to disobey Tao Tianhua? What treasures can a pauper like you have? Tell me, did you steal Tao Tianhua's treasures? It's not too late to hand them over." What an eye-opener! Su Yen was so angry that he laughed. "You are a teacher of the Ice Snow Academy. How dare you distort the truth and slander me? Where is your face? You! Jiada pointed at Su Yan, his fingers trembling and the hair on his head standing on end. He was so angry that his face turned the color of a pig's liver. He pointed at Su Yan and roared, "How dare you insult me? You're finished. You're ruined. You're in big trouble now." Gao Hua almost burst out laughing. This Su Yan was really funny. He even dared to disobey Tao Tianhua. Some of the old men frowned. Wasn't that a little too harsh? However, due to Tao Tianhua's identity, they did not dare to refute. You! A ball of fire rose in Su Yan's chest, burning fiercely. His fists were trembling and about to explode. What about me? Jiada laughed. You dare to glare at me? You are a parasite. How dare you insult a teacher here? Let me tell you, you are finished. You are ruined. You have no future. Jiada was worried about how to expel Su Yan. How could he let go of this opportunity? No future? Following a teacher like you is the one who has no future. Su Yan's eyes widened in anger. He was so angry that he laughed. His words made Jiada's face turn red. He turned around and left. The teachers of the higher academies wanted to laugh, but they didn't dare to. Everyone could feel Tao Tianhua's anger. He was Tao Tianhua. He was the pride of Huaxia. Who dared to disobey him? Many girls in the country were infatuated with him. But today, someone did not give him face. Tao Tianhua could clearly feel that Su Yan was hiding a piece of origin essence. That was a priceless treasure. Tao Tianhua had gotten his hands on one before. He was sure that Su Yan's origin essence must be very big. It could not be measured by money. Just this one piece? An ordinary person could cultivate to the peak of awakening and even become the strongest of the strong. But it was too cruel to use it for cultivation in the awakening realm. If Tao Tianhua could get it, he could exchange it for many treasures. He could even trade it with Master Zhu Yan for the unimaginably powerful tools he had. Let's see how long you can live. Tao Tianhua looked as if he was in charge of Su Yan's fate. He looked at Jiada coldly. You, come with me. Jiada shuddered. He bowed and followed Tao Tianhua. He smiled apologetically. Please don't be angry. He is just a piece of trash. It is not worth it. Do you really think I would be angry with a beggar? Tao Tianhua's eyes turned cold, and his pupils flashed with cold fluctuations. Tell me, who is this person? Hurry up, my time is limited. Jiada's eyes lit up. He explained the situation clearly in the first place. He did not forget to add oil to the fire. In short, he described Su Yan as a big piece of trash. If that is the case, why not expel him? Tao Tianhua was confused. The anger in his heart grew. A piece of trash dared to disobey him. You may not know, but this kid was the first to awaken when he joined the academy. He was even nominated as a core member by the dean. I have no right to expel him. Even if I wanted to expel him from the class, I would need the vice dean's approval, Jiada hurriedly said. Tao Tianhua was surprised. Perhaps not many people knew the identity of the dean of the Snow Academy. However, Tao Tianhua knew that she was one of the 10 strongest people in Huaxia who had survived the apocalypse. This piece of trash is quite interesting. Tao Tianhua sneered. I will help you expel him from the class. I heard that you have been in the Snow Academy for 20 years. But looking at you, it is difficult for you to be promoted. Your subordinate, Jiada, is willing to go through fire and water for Mr. Tao Tianhua. Jiada's body trembled. He was incomparably excited and almost knelt on the ground. How could he not understand the meaning behind Tao Tianhua's words? This was a great opportunity. Following a heavens chosen like Tao Tianhua was something that countless people dreamed of. Not to mention Jiada, who had always wanted to enter a high school. At this moment, he regarded Tao Tianhua as a god who could change his destiny. You don't have to go through fire and water. Tao Tianhua smiled. He enjoyed the gaze. he said casually. Do one thing well and I will let you enter a high school. If I am satisfied, you can even enter Huaxia University. Huaxia University. Jiada trembled with excitement. He treated Tao Tianhua's order as an imperial edict. To deal with a piece of trash who was not valued by the academy, Jiada felt that it was too easy. Jiada left excitedly. This matter needed to be carefully planned. After all, this was the academy. Messing around would not do him any good. It was late at night. Everything was quiet. This is really a world where the strong prey on the weak. Su Yan had already returned to the dormitory. He looked at his 17 or 18-year-old face in the mirror. There was still anger on his face. He mocked himself. What right do you have to be angry? You are worthless in the academy. Even the teachers did not speak for you. Treasures are not something you can have now. In this society, you are even worse than shit. Jiada's shameless face still flashed in Su Yan's mind. If it was 100 years ago, Su Yan would have been scared half to death. He would not have been able to graduate. His adoptive parents would have been heartbroken. His future would have been bleak. In this life, I have nothing to worry about. You, a teacher, say that I have no future. What a joke. He clenched his fists. His eyes flashed with a fierce light. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. This motherf asterisk cur is bullying me. As a man, I can't even refute. Shameful. Su Yan was incomparably furious. Jiada's words had really crossed his bottom line. Tao Tianhua's attitude of wanting to dictate his fate made Su Yan even angrier. However, all of this was because he didn't have the strength. He took out the origin essence stone. He felt that this thing was precious. Otherwise, why would Tao Tianhua dare to snatch it so brazenly? Su Yan sat cross-legged on his bed. He was as weak as an ant now. Only by cultivating and becoming stronger could he have the right to control his fate. I will remember this day forever. Su Yan closed his eyes. He took a deep breath and calmed his emotions. After a long time, he slowly entered a state of cultivation. 1. The origin essence stone glowed. Strands of extremely pure origin essence qi flowed out. They followed Su Yan's pores and flowed into his limbs and bones. At this moment, Su Yan felt as if he had eaten a ginseng fruit. His entire body felt comfortable. The weak qi and blood in his body were quickly replenished by the origin essence stone. Su Yan was speechless. This thing was too strong. His cultivation speed soared by a large margin. Even his weak body was being replenished. After a night, Su Yan's weakness was completely replenished. His entire body released a powerful aura. Su Yan's cultivation continued. The energy contained in the origin essence stone nourished Su Yan's organs, flesh, blood, and bones. It was as if he had turned into a fossil. Su Yan was rapidly becoming stronger. Of course, the dragon totem had also absorbed most of it. Su Yan didn't care. The dragon totem was his future hope. One origin essence stone was nothing. In the future, the dragon totem would definitely be able to find even more origin essence stones. After a day and night of cultivation, Su Yan's aura had become several times stronger. Night came and the night slowly passed. In the early hours of the morning, Su Yan's body rumbled, as if a layer of shackles had been torn open. His entire body rippled with brilliant light. His pores were gushing with energy. It was as if this energy could directly shatter a window. Chapter 5 ends here. Today, many readers have asked me for extras. Tomorrow, I will open a post on my public account to gather all the extras. If you need anything, remember to tell me tomorrow. I will count them all. You can add my public account on WeChat, Azure Skyleaf. Today's update ends here. Tomorrow I will continue to update. Everyone discovered that the word count of the new chapters far exceeded that of Unparalleled Emperor. 1 chapter was equal to 1.5 chapters. In the future, Azure Skyleaf will follow this standard. Of course, 3 chapters will not be less. I will be prepared to update at any time. During the free period, I hope that everyone can read the new books online. You can download a software to read the novels. You can also vote for recommendation and monthly vote. Thank you to the readers who tipped me today. I didn't expect there to be 5 Alliance Masters, and 1 Supreme Master at that. Azure Sky Leaf thanks everyone for their support, especially the monthly votes ranking. Chapter 6. Su Yen seemed to have broken through a small realm. Crackling sounds could be heard from his body, like beans being fried. 1. Essence chi surged in his body as his inner strength recovered. Every breath he took caused ripples in the air. Powerful. A smile appeared on Su Yan's face. He was unprecedentedly powerful. His entire body exuded an aura like a sharp sword. He felt that the current him was not inferior to his peak 2 years ago. He was close to the strength of 100 horses. The Source Essence Stone is too amazing. I wonder how strong I am now. Su Yen waved his fist and said confidently, "It's definitely close to Jiada's. Just you wait, Jiada, you will regret this." Then he frowned. "My strength is strong, but it's hard to control it. I don't understand the martial arts of today's society. I guess Jiada has already expelled me from his class. Even if he doesn't expel me, will he be kind enough to teach me martial arts?" Su Yen thought, "Isn't my current cultivation speed a bit too fast? According to the cultivation manual, if I advance too fast, my realm will be unstable. I need the corresponding martial arts to train my body." He sensed carefully and found that the strength in his body was hard to control. It was like a wild horse. "It's hard to control my strength. It seems that I need to train. But going to the wilderness to fight with wild beasts? With my current strength, I should be able to protect myself, right? Also, the dragon totem's effect can only be used in the wilderness." Su Yen thought for a while and his eyes lit up. "I don't know if the Xingyi Fist is considered a martial art. The Xingyi Fist that I learned before could not be used without the support of inner strength." Thinking of this, Su Yen was tempted. The Xingyi Fist was taught to him by his foster father. It was meant to strengthen the body. But now that he had such a strong strength, could he use the Xingyi Fist's power? Su Yen closed his eyes and sank his qi into his dantian to sense the strength in his body. Su Yen could clearly feel the strength in his body, but it was hard to release it. He carefully sensed it. After an unknown period of time, Su Yen faintly felt a kind of strength. This was a hidden source of strength in his body. Along with Su Yan's heartbeat, if he released it, it would affect his whole body. This is the power. Su Yan's eyes suddenly opened and he punched out with his fist at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, Su Yen guided the power in his body through his arm. However, the powerful impact of his fist made Su Yen stagger and almost fall to the ground. Bang! However, the punch caused a series of explosions in the air. Su Yen was stunned. On a table 1 meter away from him, a fist print the size of a bowl could be seen with the naked eye. What is this? Fist energy from a distance, killing people from a distance. The Xingyi Fist is actually so powerful. Su Yan's eyes widened. It was hard for him to believe that this was his strength. Furthermore, that was just a preliminary attempt, and he was still unable to perfectly circulate the power within his body. A mere collapsing fist actually produced such a powerful destructive power. Su Yen took a deep breath and began his next attempt. As long as he could cultivate the collapsing fist, chopping fist, exploding fist, drilling fist, and crossing fist to a certain degree, he would be able to cultivate the 12 Xingyi Fists at a deeper level and evolve the power of the 12 Xingyi Fists into the shape of a dragon. After trying for an entire day, Su Yan's progress was extremely fast. He could barely control the power within his body, and he could feel the power of the Xingyi Fist. In the process of cultivating the Xingyi Fist, Su Yen felt that as he circulated his body and blood essence, his foundation was even more solid. Yes, I must lay down a solid foundation. Only then will I be able to go further in the future. After an entire day of hard work, Su Yan's face was covered in sweat, but his face was filled with a satisfied smile. However, as he looked at the destroyed dormitory, Su Yan was speechless. He could not continue trying here. If he continued, he would tear down the entire dormitory. Su Yan sat cross-legged on his bed and cultivated. He spat out the essence of heaven and earth to recover his energy. However, this was not as fast as absorbing the energy from the origin essence stone. After experiencing the terrifying cultivation speed of the origin essence stone, cultivating now was like a tortoise withdrawing into its shell. After a night, Su Yan was full of energy. His bright eyes were filled with energy. He found that he was a little stronger than yesterday. He could not help but smile. It seems that on the path of martial arts, one cannot build a carriage behind closed doors. I can only take a trip to the wilderness. I need a suitable weapon. The exam is about to begin. Huaxia University is the strongest school. However, my current strength is not enough. It is impossible for me to improve too much in just a month. The origin essence stone is also almost exhausted. I can only go to the wilderness. Maybe the dragon totem can help me find a second origin essence stone. Su Yan thought for a while, and then went to the weapon building. Every awakened one had the qualifications to borrow a weapon from the school. His strength was definitely enough. Su Yan had just pushed open the dormitory door when Gao Hua, who had been monitoring Su Yan, quickly left. Jiada also lived in the same dormitory area. For the past few days, his face was very ugly. He originally thought that dealing with Su Yan would be a piece of cake. However, this kid did not come out of the dormitory. Jiada was at his wits' end. He was very angry and scolded. This trash maggot, he must be sleeping. Just when Jiada was having a headache, Gao Hua came to report. Teacher Jiada, Su Yan went out. I have already sent people to watch him. He came out. Good, I was afraid that he would not come out. Jiada's face was filled with ecstasy. You keep a close eye on him and see what he wants to do. I will immediately report to Master Tianhua. When Gao Hua turned his head, his face was so ferocious that it was about to become distorted. The last time Su Yan pretended to be a big bull to scare him, causing him to become the laughingstock of the entire school. He could not even raise his head in front of Lord Tao Tianhua. What kind of weapon should I choose? Along the way, Su Yan was thinking. The wilderness was very dangerous. If he was not careful, he could lose his life. Su Yan's goal was to find treasures. His second goal was to kill wild beasts to earn money. Few people came to the weapon building. Just the heavy steel door alone was enough to make people despair. Only awakened experts were qualified to open the door and borrow weapons. This was also the school's consideration for the students. If one's strength was not enough, killing wild beasts was the same as suicide. Hey, isn't this my senior brother? A strange laughter sounded, causing the passers-by to turn their heads in puzzlement. When they noticed that it was Su Yan, their expressions were somewhat interesting. Su Yan is here. I heard that he offended Tao Tianhua. Let's not talk about Su Yan, Gao Hua's streaking. The nearby students were secretly laughing. Who didn't know about the incident of a man and a woman streaking a few days ago? This matter had long since spread like wildfire. Gao Hua was even caught red-handed by Tao Tianhua. Gao Hua was now a big celebrity. The surrounding whispers made Gao Hua so angry that he almost vomited blood. His eyes turned red on the spot. He stared at Su Yan and said fiercely, Su Yan, what are you doing here? If you want to go to the weapon building, why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? You think you can open the door? Su Yan stopped, turned his head, and glanced at Gao Hua's bitter and vengeful expression. Su Yan was immediately amused. Isn't this Gao Hua? Have you recovered from your injuries? Su Yan originally blamed himself for this matter, but now there was no need to. He deserved it. What did you say? Gao Hua's voice was trembling. His tall figure clenched his fists, and his eyes were frighteningly red. He glared at Su Yan and said angrily, "You piece of trash, if you have the guts, say it again. Don't you understand human language?" Su Yan's eyes turned cold. It really was you. Gao Hua's heart and lungs were trembling. Before, he wasn't sure if it was Su Yan. Now that Su Yan was asking about his injuries, Gao Hua was about to go crazy. These few nights had been Gao Hua's nightmare. He looked at the naked beauty on the bed, but he didn't have the slightest bit of masculinity. He was a man, but now he was about to become a eunuch. Su Yan, you have guts. You offended Tao Tianhua. Let's see how you're going to settle this. Gao Hua gritted his teeth. He wanted to skin Su Yan alive. You don't have to worry about that. Go stay where you want to be. Su Yan turned his head and walked up the stairs. He walked towards the door of the weapon building. F***CK, what is this lunatic doing? He wants to push open the door of the weapon building? Is he crazy? He just offended Tao Tianhua, and now he wants to push open the door of the weapon building. Hasn't he lost enough face? The surrounding people were stunned. This door couldn't be pushed open easily. It required the strength of at least 10 horses to push it open. Ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. Gao Hua laughed instead of being angry. He pointed at Su Yan and said, "You still dare to push open this door? I think you really don't know how to spell the word shame. Hurry up and come down. Don't make a fool of yourself here." Gao Hua knew the door of the weapon building too well. He had barely managed to push it open last year. At that time, Gao Hua had the strength of 10 horses. This door was definitely not something a piece of trash could push open. Su Yan ignored the mocking laughter around him. His palm touched the door. "I say, Gao Hua, don't bother with this lunatic. If he has the ability, let him push it. If he can't push it open, there will be a good show." Someone on the side laughed. "That's right. Let this piece of trash know what he's capable of. He even dared to offend Tao Tianhua." Gao Hua's face was full of disdain. For the people of the Ice Snow Academy, Tao Tianhua was the pride of God. Even the teachers of the academy had to be respectful to Tao Tianhua. "Tao Tianhua, you really have a big reputation." Su Yan's eyes flashed with a trace of coldness. His palm followed. Boom. Suddenly, a series of heavy syllables exploded here, and the heavy door was slowly pushed open by a hand. Everyone who was watching, pointing, and laughing at Su Yan had a face full of disbelief. It was very difficult for an ordinary hunter to push open this door. Only an awakening master with the strength of at least 10 horses was qualified to push open the door. But now the door was pushed open by Su Yan. Although Su Yan looked like he was struggling, he did push it open. Su Yan was pretending. He didn't want to expose too much of his strength. How is this possible? The whole audience was stunned. They were all shocked. For 2 years they had laughed at a piece of trash. Now, he had pushed open the door of the weapon building with the strength of 10 horses. "You." Gao Hua was also shocked. He clenched his fists and his face twitched. He was humiliated. He said angrily, "Stop. I advise you not to provoke me." In the face of Gao Hua's repeated provocations, Su Yan's voice was a bit cold. Kind people were bullied, but Su Yan was not a kind person. He didn't mind teaching him a lesson. Gao Hua's eyes were red. He pointed at Su Yan and said angrily, "Su Yan, you've grown up. You dare to challenge me with just a little strength? If you have the guts, come and fight with me. If you lose, hand over Tao Tianhua's treasure." What? Su Yan stole Tao Tianhua's treasure? The students who were still in shock widened their eyes. Who was Tao Tianhua? Even if Su Yan really had the strength of 10 horses, compared to Tao Tianhua, the difference was like heaven and earth. Gao Hua was overjoyed by the reaction of the surrounding people. He continued, "Do you dare to accept? If you don't, I will expose your dirty deeds." You want to challenge me? Su Yan had already entered the weapon building. An indifferent voice came from the darkness. Wait here. The surrounding people's faces stiffened. They admitted that Su Yan was strong, but who was Gao Hua? Although he wasn't a famous person in the school, he wasn't someone that Su Yan could challenge now. Ha ha ha, you want to stall for time? Let me tell you, there's no way. Everyone heard what you said just now. Come here and be witnesses. I, Gao Hua, want to duel with Su Yan today. Gao Hua laughed out loud. The anger in his heart instantly dissipated. Deal with Su Yan? Gao Hua was disdainful. Wasn't it easy? Chapter 7. The heavy doors of the weaponry building were closed. The room was dark, but the luster of cold weapons filled the air. With the appearance of heaven and earth essence, many ore veins had mutated under the nourishment of heaven and earth essence. The country of China had researched for many years and finally developed a new material called alloy. Now, alloys were divided into ordinary alloys, high-quality alloys, and top-quality alloys. Ordinary alloys could cause damage to mutated beasts. As for top-quality alloys, they were rumored to be used against beast kings. Su Yan stared at the weapons inside. There were all kinds of weapons, knives, swords, staffs, and so on. Su Yan casually picked up a shiny sword. The cold blade was suffused with a cold metallic glow. If this thing was placed 100 years ago, it would be a divine weapon. It could cut through iron like mud. Su Yan could feel its sharpness. It should be more than 300 pounds. The alloy is really heavy. The body of this sword is as thin as a cicada's wing, but it weighs more than 300 pounds. Su Yan waited for a while and shook his head. This sword was too light for him. Going into the wilderness was very dangerous. Most people would go in groups, but Su Yan's main goal was to find treasures. He could only go alone. After choosing for a while, Su Yan still couldn't find a weapon that satisfied him. He then looked towards the second floor. The second floor should be better. Su Yan walked towards the second floor full of expectation. There were fewer weapons on the second floor. Su Yan felt that the weapons were heavy. Su Yan even found some ancient weapons. Su Yan excitedly looked through the weapons. These weapons were all recorded in great detail. When he saw a bronze greatsword that could threaten a beast king, he was shocked. His heart skipped a beat. This was the strength of a superior alloy. Su Yan felt that it was a bit strenuous to carry this bronze greatsword. His face paled. Little brother, you are not bad. You are very strong. Just as Su Yan was looking, a cold voice came from behind. Su Yan's hair stood on end. He shouted, "Who is it?" Turning his head, he saw an old man. He was full of energy. He was wearing a tang suit and his eyes were sharp. Su Yan felt a suffocating pressure as he confronted him. He even smelled the stench of blood on his body. Su Yan's eyes narrowed. This old man was not at the same level as Jiada's teacher. This old man's combat power must be very shocking. He stood there like a ferocious beast. When he saw Su Yan's face, the old man in the tang suit was surprised. "It's you. Teacher knows me?" Su Yan was astonished. "Of course." The old man in the tang suit nodded. He looked at Su Yan and said, "I didn't expect that the child brought by the dean back then would have grown up so much. Little guy, you're doing okay now." "Teacher knows the dean?" Su Yan was a little excited. He quickly asked, "Teacher, do you know where the dean is? I really want to see her." Hearing this, the old man in the tang suit frowned and said, "I don't know where the dean is, but before the dean left, he said that if you want to find him, I will help you inform the dean." Su Yan couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. This dean seemed to value him a lot. When Su Yan asked about the dean's origin, the old man in the tang suit shook his head and said, "Don't ask. Very few people know about the dean's origin. Not many people in the school know about her origin. But you, little guy, your strength has regressed over the years. Your strength can barely be considered average among the awakened ones. But you're too weak. Your chances of entering a top school are not high. Su Yan said awkwardly, I will work harder and try to get into Huaxia University. The old man in the tang suit was suddenly happy. Get into Huaxia University? How was that possible? Although Su Yan had some strength, the entry requirements of Huaxia University were too far away. He had no hope. He shook his head and said, You have high aspirations. But things are different now. If it were in the past, you might be able to get into Peking University or Tsinghua University. But the world is completely different. Martial arts is the road of life and death. Warriors are not flowers in a greenhouse. Su Yan's heart trembled. He said respectfully, Teacher, may I ask if you are a strong person who came out from the post-apocalyptic world? You really dare to guess. The old man in the tang suit was stunned. After a moment of silence, he sighed and said, Yes, this old man is almost 130 years old. Su Yan was shocked. This old man was over 100 years old, but according to his real age, he was only a few years older than Su Yan. Senior, can you tell this junior what happened during the post-apocalyptic world? Su Yan asked. Although more than 100 years have passed, this junior wants to know what happened back then. How did the world become like this? The old man in the tang suit frowned. He was always swift and decisive, so he was too lazy to talk nonsense with a teenager. But thinking about his origin, the old man in the tang suit sighed and reminisced. He still remembered that he had not graduated on the eve of the apocalypse. When that day really came, too many classmates died in the cosmic energy. He was one of the lucky ones. He survived the first day and became an awakened one on the second day. Slaughter. The world was filled with slaughter and blood. It was a world of purgatory. Who could forget it after experiencing it? That period of time was too hard for humans. The old man in the tang suit sighed again and again. There are not many people of the same age who can survive until now. The old man in the tang suit knew more than just historical record. He could talk for days and nights about the darkness and blood of that period. Senior, where did the essence of heaven and earth come from? Su Yan asked. Are there any other changes? For example, where did it come from? Su Yan regretted his words as soon as he finished speaking. He could faintly feel the old man's aura become fierce. His eyes stared at Su Yan like a beast, making him shudder. Su Yan's words seemed to have touched the old man's nerve. He looked at Su Yan and said in a low voice, All right, go and choose your weapon. I don't have time to chat with you. This old man, really? Su Yan's face twitched. He originally wanted to know more about Mount Everest, but it seemed that there was no chance. He could only choose his weapon. Does this little guy know something? The old man in the tang suit was also puzzled. He was very curious about Su Yan's origin. He did not understand why the dean brought this little guy 3 years ago. The dean had disappeared for almost 3 years, and there were rumors that the dean was dead. Ding, ding. The familiar voice sounded a little unfamiliar. The old man in the tang suit was shocked. His communicator rang. It had been 3 years, and he hadn't received a single message. Now, he suddenly received a message from the dean. However, the content of the message caused his expression to darken. Zhu Yan wants to open Emperor Qin's mausoleum. These few words made the old man in the tang suit tremble from the bottom of his heart. Emperor Qin's mausoleum was extremely dangerous. It was occupied by a group of powerful beast kings. He admitted that Zhu Yan was very powerful, but with his strength, how could he fight against a group of top beast kings? As for Emperor Qin's mausoleum, only God knew what was hidden inside. Zhu Yan insisted on opening the mausoleum of the first emperor of all time. What did he want? The old man in the tang suit pondered. He was not in the mood to care about what weapon Su Yan took. He directly asked him to leave. Su Yan chose an iron rod as his weapon. Su Yan was not good with weapons, so he would rather use an iron rod. Moreover, this iron rod could be dismantled, so it was easy to carry. He put it in his backpack and left the building. Outside, the Ice-Snow Academy was in an uproar. The news of the duel between Gao Hua and Su Yan had spread. This lunatic, he really dares to fight with Gao Hua? Is he not afraid of losing an arm or a leg? There were even many girls protesting, saying that they wanted to expel Su Yan from the academy. For these girls, the handsome and talented Tao Tianhua was their idol. However, Su Yan should not have offended Tao Tianhua. This matter caused a huge uproar. Jiada almost laughed out loud. He did not expect that Su Yan would really dare to fight with Gao Hua. If he was crippled, then everything would be easy. The academy supported the idea of a duel. A person who offended Tao Tianhua, even if the dean came back, he would not protect him. What surprised Jiada was that Su Yan had the strength of 10 horses. However, the final exam was coming soon. With this strength, the chances of him entering an institution of higher learning were almost zero. You didn't hear wrong. Su Yan wants to fight with Gao Hua? Xiang Yang's cold and arrogant face was full of smiles. He was very happy to hear this and immediately notified Bai Menjing. Who would have thought that Bai Menjing would have such a big reaction? She rushed to the weapon tower. In his knowledge, Bai Menjing had never cared so much about a man. The girl's beautiful face was full of anxiety, making Xiang Yang's face turn ugly. He said, "Yes, I don't know what happened to this Su Yan. I heard that he stole Tao Tianhua's treasure. He really has guts." Bai Menjing frowned and said, "Su Yan is not that kind of person." "That's true. What ability does he have to steal Tao Tianhua's treasure?" Xiang Yang was very angry. What qualifications did this trash have to make Bai Menjing care about him? When they arrived at the weapon tower, Bai Menjing's face changed. There were too many people here. Someone was deliberately targeting Su Yan. Gao Hua was furious at this time. Everyone, look at this time. Su Yan is so scared that he doesn't dare to come out. Who took so long to choose a weapon? Why are you in such a hurry? The door of the weapon tower was pushed open again, and Su Yan walked out. The scene outside made him sneer in his heart. Tao Tianhua, this treasure is really important. Unfortunately, I've almost used it all up. Su Yan. Gao Hua's eyes widened in anger. You're finally willing to come out. The students are all watching. If you're a man, come down and duel with me. Didn't you want to duel? Make your move. Su Yan waved at him, motioning for him to come up. Everyone was suffocating. When did this Su Yan become so gutsy? He directly asked Gao Hua to make his move? Wasn't he afraid of losing an arm or a leg? He even arrogantly asked him to make his move. Wait a moment. At this time Jiada came. He was a teacher, after all, and the scene immediately quieted down. Jiada looked at the two of them and said, "Why are you dueling? It's almost the big exam, and you're still so restless." "And you?" Jiada looked at Su Yan and said with disgust, "You've just been kicked out of the class by me, and you're still restless. You're really a troublemaker. I heard that you took something from someone else. If it's true, you'd better hand it over quickly, or else you'll suffer." When these words spread, all the students were stunned. Su Yan was kicked out of the class? Didn't that mean that he was a nobody? I just got the news too. Su Yan has been skipping classes all day, and he was expelled by the teacher. Xiang Yang hurriedly said to Bai Menjing, "Menjing, you're a student of Huaxia University in the future. Don't associate with trash like him. It's not good for your future." How could this happen? Bai Menjing looked at Su Yan, who was being mocked by all the students. She felt an inexplicable pain in her heart. How humiliating it was to be expelled by the teacher. "Ha ha ha, Su Yan, let's see how you're going to quibble this time." Gao Hua laughed sinisterly and rushed up the stairs. "I'll take you down now." Su Yan's eyes flashed with a trace of coldness. He looked down at Gao Hua and said coldly, "I told you not to provoke me. You asked for it. Only with absolute power would one have the right to speak. Facing Gao Hua, who was rushing up, Su Yan suddenly raised his foot and stomped down fiercely. This scene made Gao Hua's eyes widen in anger. He rushed up even faster and said angrily, "You dare to stomp on me? Your foot is crippled." Gao Hua angrily raised his fist and punched Su Yan's foot. At first, the people around them thought that Su Yan had gone crazy. However, when he stomped down, the aura that erupted from his foot was as strong as lightning. It was as if a sharp sword had been unsheathed, carrying with it the power to topple mountains and overturn seas. Gao Hua's expression changed drastically. He was frightened by Su Yan's aura, and his brain almost short-circuited. Crack! Su Yan snorted coldly. His aura was astonishing. His powerful foot stomped down, accompanied by a series of bone-cracking sounds. Gao Hua's arm was directly broken. The sole of his foot stepped on his face. The bridge of his nose was broken, and all his teeth were shattered. Ah! Chapter 8. The whole place was dead silent. Su Yan's kick had shocked everyone. Some people even thought that they were seeing things. Gao Hua was also an expert among the awakened ones. But now, his arm had been broken by Su Yan's kick. That terrifying force was like stepping on the tip of their hearts, making their hair stand on end. Su Yan stood on the 9-step. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on his body, setting off his imposing aura. His cold appearance made it difficult for them to look at him directly. Is he a waste? How is this possible? How can Su Yan be so strong? Who said that Su Yan was at the bottom of the awakening realm? He is clearly an expert among experts. Not to mention the surrounding students, even Giada was tongue-tied and his whole body was trembling. Oh my God, what kind of stupid thing did I do to expel a student who had the potential to be admitted into a higher school? The other two elite teachers almost burst out laughing. They could see that Su Yan's strength was definitely among the top in the academy. Although he was not as strong as the top 10, his strength was at least 50 horses. If he worked hard during the exam, he would have a high chance of entering an advanced academy. But now, Su Yan's exam results had nothing to do with Giada. Su Yan, how dare you treat your classmates so cruelly? Xiang Yang had originally brought Bai Menjing here to let her see how Su Yan would make a fool of himself in front of everyone and lose all face. In the end, how could she not be angry when she saw this scene? Su Yan's powerful kick was a resounding slap to his face. Boom! Everyone was suffocating. Strands of resplendent light were released, as if a stormy wave was rolling over. The energy fluctuations emitted caused several ancient trees in the vicinity to rustle. Countless leaves were blown down by this violent gale. It's Xiang Yang. Look! Everyone present sucked in a breath of cold air. Even the teacher's face was filled with shock. At this moment, Xiang Yang was incomparably powerful. His entire body emitted a resplendent light. This was a materialized form of energy. The moment the pressure descended, everyone felt like they were suffocating. They had the urge to fall to the ground, paralyzed. The release of divine power. Xiang Yang has broken through to the awakening realm. That's too scary. As expected of one of the most influential figures in our academy. Xiang Yang is too powerful. Even the teachers were shocked. This was a monstrous talent. Geniuses like this would be recorded in the history books of the Ice-Snow Academy. Even Xiang Yang had a high chance of entering Huaxia University. Not only that, but Xiang Yang's entire body was like hundreds of fierce horses galloping. When all this power was being fed to Su Yan, the brilliance of the power of Su Yan's kick was completely drowned out. The strength of 100 horses. It's very likely that it has surpassed the strength of 100 horses. It seems that our academy doesn't have a detailed record of the limits of awakened ones. To be able to release divine power and open up a divine power source within the body, this is the combat strength of a Lord-class wild beast. Su Yan's eyes widened. He could clearly feel Xiang Yang's strength. As long as he wanted to, he could directly kill him. Stop! Xiang Yang, what are you doing? Just as Xiang Yang's power was about to reach Su Yan, a wisp of aura that was not inferior to Xiang Yang's suddenly burst out. This was Bai Menjing, who had an impressive figure and undulating curves. Her body emitted a brilliant and clear radiance. Her bright and moving face was filled with an icy coldness as she appeared in front of Su Yan. The clear radiance emitted from her body blocked the pressure of the sun. The people around trembled. Another one had appeared. Bai Menjing had also released her divine power. The Ice Snow Academy had produced 2 such people in succession this year. It seems that the essence of Earth has become stronger again. The old man in the Tang suit from the weapon tower looked over and muttered to himself, "There are more and more experts on Earth. This time, there will definitely be many experts who can release their divine power. However, these little guys are too impatient. The potential of the primordial realm can be infinitely enhanced. There is no limit yet. Although they can still cultivate their body in the future, the space for cultivation will be smaller in the future." The old man in the Tang suit clearly understood that Zhu Yan had probably reached the strength of 1,000 horses in the primordial realm. This was a terrifying record that no one could break until now. "Menjing you!" Xiang Yang was furious. He stared at Su Yan and shouted. He saw it just now. It was just a competition, but Su Yan was so vicious and even insulted the teacher. This is a great disrespect. If we don't punish him properly, he might cause a disaster in the future. Disaster? Su Yan said disdainfully. Why? Do you mean it's for my own good? Su Yan, please correct your attitude. Xiang Yang shouted sternly. Don't think that just because you have some power, you can bully your classmates. What a good way to bully my classmates! Su Yan said coldly. Who here doesn't know that he? I don't know his name. He provoked me first and attacked me first. How did I bully my classmates? Gao Hua, who was in so much pain that he wanted to die, trembled all over when he heard Su Yan's words. He almost spat out another mouthful of blood. But you can't be so vicious. Xiang Yang pointed at Su Yan with a look of righteous indignation. His face was livid as he said, "You even insulted the teacher. What do you think this place is? Aren't you too vicious?" Some people were encouraged by Xiang Yang's words. They felt that it was true. Although Su Yan was strong, he was too vicious. So noisy. Su Yan said angrily, "Who do you think you are? You came here to criticize me and even pretended to stand up for him. You really have the face to say such things. You!" Xiang Yang's eyes were about to pop out. "Who do you think you are? How could he, who was cold and arrogant, accept such words?" He said angrily, "Come and fight me if you have the ability. Do you dare? You're really thick-skinned. I think you're the shameless one." Su Yan was furious. He didn't even know who this person was, but he was targeting him. "Xiang Yang, that's enough." Bai Menjing's face flushed red. It's too common to be injured in a martial arts competition. Now that you've released your divine power, you still want to fight with Su Yan? Aren't you the one bullying a student now? If you really want to do this, I'll fight you in Su Yan's place. The surroundings were in an uproar. What was going on? Wasn't Xiang Yang pursuing Bai Menjing? But why was Bai Menjing helping Su Yan? This relationship was too complicated. Some people's hearts were burning with the flames of gossip. Although Bai Menjing was kind-hearted, she wouldn't just stand by and watch. Su Yan looked at Bai Menjing gratefully. If she hadn't stood up, he would have definitely suffered. With Xiang Yang releasing his divine power, the academy would definitely protect him. He even knew that he had offended Tao Tianhua. Now, who would dare to stand up for him? You. Xiang Yang was extremely sullen. He wanted nothing more than to skin Su Yan alive. The girl he had been pursuing actually spoke up for Su Yan again and again. Now, she even wanted to attack him? This made Xiang Yang want to kill Su Yan 18 times. How could this trash compare to him? What did he have? What's with the commotion? All of you back off. At this moment, a cold voice came from the weapon tower. The three elite teachers' expressions changed. The old man inside was the second strongest person in the academy, second only to the dean. Even the vice dean had to be respectful to the old man in the tang suit. Damn it! No matter how angry Xiang Yang was, he didn't dare to behave atrociously here. He stared at Su Yan with his ferocious eyes and said, "Let's wait and see. I want to see what kind of results you can get." "You don't have to worry about that," Su Yan coldly snorted. Gao Hua was still trembling. His injuries were too serious. He couldn't even stand up. A group of students directly took him away and sent him to the infirmary. As for Jiada, he was extremely angry. However, he had nowhere to vent his anger. The task Tao Tianhua gave him had been messed up. Now that Su Yan had become an awakening expert, he was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. Tao Tianhua had also been paying attention to this. His face was gloomy. He was sure that Su Yan had swallowed the power of the Source Essence Stone. Bastard! Tao Tianhua's handsome face faintly showed a sinister expression. He angrily said, "Su Yan, I will remember you. As for the Source Essence Stone, it's impossible for it to be used up in just a few days. His strength is at most 60 horses. The Source Essence Stone must have a lot of energy left. We can't let him waste it." Tao Tianhua didn't expect that Su Yan would use the Source Essence Stone. This made him extremely angry. The crowd dispersed. Su Yan said to Bai Menjing, "Thank you so much for just now. If you hadn't come in time, I would have been embarrassed." Embarrassed? Bai Menjing was amused. Her bright and beautiful face was full of smiles. She said, "Su Yan, you still have a conscience. You haven't forgotten about me, right? Has your memory recovered?" "It has," Su Yan muttered to himself. In the past, he had a good relationship with Bai Menjing. She also knew about his memory loss. "If you can recover, then there's hope," Bai Menjing said with a smile. "Although you've neglected your cultivation for more than 2 years, with your current strength, you'll be able to enter an advanced academy if you work hard. If you show enough talent, you might even be accepted by Huaxia University." "It seems like your goal is Huaxia University," Su Yan said with a smile. Bai Menjing nodded seriously. She then said with some embarrassment, "Back then, we agreed to enter Huaxia University together, but I don't blame you. Who told you to go crazy during this period of time? I'm happy for you from the bottom of my heart that you've recovered. However, you have to promise me that you'll strive to become stronger in the future. When the time comes, I'll find a way to let you enter Huaxia University." "Oh, it seems like Menjing is a powerful woman." Su Yan was instantly amused. "What nonsense are you talking about? I'm not a powerful woman." Menjing stomped her feet with a bitter look in her eyes. Back then, she had been defeated by Su Yan 8 times in a row. Her Bai family was a famous family in the Huaxia Alliance, and her grandfather was one of the founders of the Huaxia Alliance. One could imagine how influential the Bai family was. Let me tell you, Huaxia University is the best academy. It has the most resources. The other academies really can't compare to Huaxia University. I heard from my grandfather that the changes on Earth are accelerating. Soon, Tao will be born. Once that day comes, Huaxia University will soar into the sky." The girl said seriously, her eyes full of longing. Although there were some things that she couldn't understand, she knew what the best academy was. She hoped that these words could stimulate Su Yan's fighting spirit and make him work hard to enter Huaxia University. Earth's cultivation environment will change again. This news had a great impact on Su Yan. His heart was restless. It was very likely that there were some restrictions on Earth that prevented the masters on Earth from becoming stronger quickly. If that was the case, Su Yan felt that there was still a chance to catch up with the older generation. Su Yan had the dragon totem, and his ambition was now very big. Only when he stepped into the realm of the strong could he face Zhu Yan and recover his lost memories. As long as he showed enough talent, he could even use the power of Huaxia University to find the whereabouts of his sister and parent. "Oh right, Su Yan, about you and Tao Tianhua," Bai Menjing couldn't help but say. "Although I don't know what kind of conflict there is between you two, our Bai family can still talk to Tao Tianhua. If you need, you can tell me." She didn't finish her sentence, afraid that she would hurt Su Yan's self-esteem. Su Yan smiled knowingly. "Little girl, I know what you want to say, but there are some things that I really don't want to trouble you with. Besides, this is not something that can be solved by apologizing." Bai Menjing knew that Tao Tianhua had great power because war god Zhu Yan thought very highly of him. Su Yan had offended him now, and Tao Tianhua would definitely target him in the future. Tao Tianhua was a famous genius. If Su Yan was willing to lower his head, he would definitely apologize and the Bai family would intercede. At this time, Tao Tianhua was thinking about Su Yan's source essence stone. Jiada came with a long face. Tao Tianhua said angrily, "He's just a small awakened. What are you panicking for? My promise to you won't change. So what if he joins the Advanced Academy? A word from me can make it difficult for him to move an inch. He really doesn't know how strong he is to fight with me. Keep an eye on him. I don't believe that he can stay in the academy for the rest of his life." Tao Tianhua's murderous intent was aroused. A strong murderous intent. If this matter were to spread, how would he survive? If he couldn't even kill a small ant, wouldn't he be ridiculed? Chapter 9. The weapon tower was very quiet. The students were still in shock. Su Yan's strength had surprised them, and Bai Menjing's choice had stunned them. How powerful was Xiang Yang? They didn't expect that Bai Menjing would help Su Yan, but Bai Menjing and Xiang Yang's strength made them envious. Two life spring experts, once the exam was over, they would definitely be able to enter Huaxia University. During the conversation with Bai Menjing, Su Yan also learned another thing. After the 100 years of changes on Earth, the recovered heaven and Earth's essence qi had gradually become stronger. Especially in the past 3 years, the heaven and Earth's essence qi had increased by a lot. The change in the cultivation environment had led to the emergence of powerful talents from all the major academies. Once they rose, they would definitely be the chosen ones of the Huaxia Alliance in the future. After all, the stronger the heaven and Earth's essence qi was, the faster one's cultivation would be. But no one knew what the future of Earth would be like. There's always someone stronger than you. Some geniuses have the strength of a few hundred horses in the primordial realm. Once they step into the life origin realm, their strength will be extremely strong. Bai Menjing smiled. Once these young geniuses gathered in Huaxia University, it would be a real battle between dragons and tigers. She naturally wouldn't be outdone. Su Yan was surprised. A few hundred horses? This was a bit scary. It seemed that a few hundred horses were only the weakest peak awakening experts, and some people's potential was several times greater than theirs. The delay of the exam is actually a good thing for me. Su Yan also learned that many life spring experts had appeared in all the major academies, so the teachers of Huaxia University had to personally supervise the exam. Because of the lack of staff, the exam would be delayed for a few days. Menjing, thank you for telling me so much. I hope you can fulfill your wish. I should go now. Su Yan said goodbye. Su Yan, you have to do your best. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on the girl's body. She had a pure smile on her face, which was dazzling. For a moment, she became the focus of the whole place, and the young men who were still nearby were mesmerized. Su Yan's figure was tall and straight. He tilted his head slightly and paused for a moment. He laughed in his heart and said, I will. Bai Menjing was sincerely happy for Su Yan. She intertwined her snow-white hands and murmured in her heart, Su Yan, I really hope you can keep up. Su Yan returned to his dormitory with a heavy heart. He digested the series of events he had learned from his conversation with Bai Menjing and gained a comprehensive understanding of the current society. The universe is vast, and Earth is too insignificant in the universe. But is Earth only the birthplace of life? If the fiend god civilization had once appeared, it wouldn't be a problem for experts to step into the universe. The Earth's mutation is accelerating. I have to work harder. If I fall behind, I might not be able to catch up. Su Yen was silent. He remembered that he had climbed Mount Everest for 3 years in a row in order to find the answer to his origin. However, the strange phenomenon had appeared in 100 years, and what awaited him was an endless mystery. Su Yan's eyes were filled with confusion, but he soon became determined. He said in a deep voice, "If I can't even deal with Tao Tianhua, what right do I have to talk to Zhu Yan in the future?" He closed his eyes and breathed in the essence of heaven and earth to strengthen himself. Su Yan didn't continue to use the Source Stone. There wasn't much energy left in it, and it could only be used at a critical moment. Time passed day after day. Base number 9 was shaken one after another. There were rumors of Life Spring Realm experts appearing in all the academies. Even the news reported that the Huaxia Alliance was entering a period of rapid development. In the future, more and more experts would appear. Great. The exam has been delayed for 3 months. Yeah, this way I will have more time to become stronger and have more hope of entering an advanced academy. Today, the Snow Academy suddenly announced that the exam would be delayed. Most of the students were shouting excitedly. At this critical moment, time was too precious. Damn it! Why is it delayed for so long? Xiang Yang's face darkened. His day of fame was coming soon. He wanted to be the champion of the Snow Academy. However, the exam had been delayed for 3 months. How could Xiang Yang be happy? All the residents of base number 9 were talking about it. The news of Life Spring Realm experts appearing in all the top 10 academies could be considered a big news. Boom! When night fell, from the mountains and rivers, a series of beastly roars suddenly burst out. The roars were so loud that they could shatter the sky, and were transmitted to base number 9. It was as if an earthquake had happened in base number 9. All the buildings were shaking, and many residents were panicking. Su Yen, who was sitting cross-legged in his dormitory, suddenly jumped up. He wasn't frightened by the beastly roars. It was because the dragon totem was burning brightly, emitting scorching heat that attacked Su Yan's mind. What? Su Yan's face changed. He was surprised and happy at the same time, because the temperature emitted by the dragon totem was much higher than the source stone he had encountered last time. What kind of precious treasure could be sensed by the dragon totem? He guessed that it must be more powerful than the source stone. Su Yen walked out of his dormitory. There were many students standing outside the dormitory. He heard countless beastly roars coming from the mountains and valleys. It was the arrival of a stampede of beasts. Base No. 9 was in chaos. All the city guards were mobilized, rushing to the gate to prevent the stampede of beasts from attacking the base. Look, what is that? Many people were shocked. It was already night, but the wilderness was emitting a dazzling light. Tens of thousands of rays of light surged out, illuminating the night sky. They saw thousands of beasts rushing towards the area where the light was coming from. It was a shocking scene. Roar! The noise was too loud. Countless beasts rushed out of their cages, letting out horrifying roars. The whole wilderness was in chaos. Is it the birth of a treasure? Su Yen clenched his fists. The change of the dragon totem must have something to do with the wilderness. He couldn't believe that the dragon totem could sense the birth of a treasure from hundreds of miles away. How powerful was the treasure? Boom! A few hundred miles away, an extremely powerful fluctuation erupted. Everyone could see it clearly. One after another, wild beasts with terrifying aura were rushing over. It was as if 3 demonic gods were awakening. Their blood and chi surged like smoke signals, their ferocious might overflowed into the sky. It's the king of beasts. There are 3 of them. It must be the mountain treasure. The 24th wilderness has given birth to an incredible treasure. Send the news to Huaxia City immediately. The powerful warriors of the city guards were shocked. The king of beasts was comparable to the most powerful warriors of the human race, and 3 of them jumped out at the same time. They were horrified. It was not surprising that the mountain had given birth to a treasure. However, the noise this time was too big. It was very likely that an incredible treasure had appeared. Therefore, they must inform the powerful warriors of the Huaxia Alliance to take away the mountain treasure. They must not let it fall into the hands of the beasts. Base number 9, what a surprise! Tao Tianhua made his move. His face was full of excitement. A mountain treasure that could make 3 beast kings fight with their lives on the line was definitely a priceless treasure. He knew all too well about treasures, and there were some mystical treasures that had nature-defying effects. Mountain treasure, king of beasts, what a terrifying king of beasts. It can kill me as easily as killing an ant. Su Yan kept staring at the wilderness. His heart was full of bitterness. The dragon totem could sense the location of the mountain treasure. However, it was a pity that with his current strength, he would be killed if he went out to fight. It was not a peaceful night. Powerful warriors from base number 9 kept coming to base number 9. They were all from Huaxia City. The wilderness was in chaos. The killing was very fierce. Many unlucky people were trampled by the army of beasts. Until the powerful warriors from Huaxia City arrived, the situation was stabilized. On the 2nd day, traces of the mountain treasure disappeared. It was unknown who had obtained it. Boom! The killing in the wilderness was even more fierce. Beasts and human beings had always been incompatible. Now that the mountain treasure had disappeared, the king of beasts suspected that it was taken by a powerful warrior. Who on earth took the mountain treasure? Su Yan's dragon totem calmed down. He frowned. The students were also talking about it. This kind of thing was not rare. It would happen once every 6 months. In the current environment, treasures were extremely precious. Everyone wanted to have them. The powerful human beings had been fighting with the king of beasts for all kinds of precious resources. The battle lasted until this night. The 3 king of beasts were all injured. They ran to the depths of the wilderness. Therefore, the powerful human beings did not dare to rashly attack them. A large number of city guards also returned. The 9th base was full of discussions. They wanted to know what kind of treasure had appeared. Tao Tianhua's face was very pale. Who took the treasure? He did not know, but he knew what the mountain treasure was. It was too precious. It was many times more precious than the source essence stone. It was a top treasure. Unfortunately, its whereabouts were unknown. Alas, I am not lucky. Su Yan frowned. He scratched his head and returned to the dormitory. Although he had the dragon totem as a treasure-hunting beast, he did not have the strength to fight for it. Forget it. I will go to the wilderness tomorrow morning. Even if I can't find the mountain treasure, it should be enough to compete with the source essence stone, right? Su Yan thought to himself. It was late at night. Everything was silent. In the dormitory, Su Yan's whole body was shining. His blood boiled. As his cultivation of the beginning sutra deepened, Dao Ling's body released a strong wave of energy. His flesh, skin, bones, organs, heart, and lungs were all nourished by the essence of heaven and earth and rapidly strengthened. The beginning sutra was to train the body. Only when one was strong enough could he open a life spring in his body and step into the life spring realm. Su Yan's eyes suddenly opened. There was a flash of joy in his eyes. The dragon totem was flashing hot again. It was the same temperature as when he had found the mountain treasure. No, the treasure is still in the wilderness. Su Yan climbed out of bed and looked at the wilderness through the window. There was a trace of excitement in his eyes. What should I do? The mountain treasure is still where it was yesterday. That is wilderness number 24. There are beast kings and even many lord-level vicious beasts. Only Life Spring Realm experts can go there. With my strength, the death rate in Wilderness number 24 is very high. Su Yen breathed heavily. But the mountain treasure was in Wilderness number 24. Was he going to give it up just like that? This was a treasure that human warriors and beast kings would fight for with their lives. Let's do it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Chapter 10. Su Yen left the academy quietly without alerting anyone. As for the 9th base, which was made of steel, there was only one entrance, and it was guarded by the army. Su Yen could feel the murderous aura from afar. It was a group of soldiers with cold weapons. There were thousands of soldiers patrolling the entrance, waiting for the Beast King Association to take revenge on the 9th base. For people like us who don't have any power, there are only 2 ways to graduate from an advanced academy. The first is to join an independent organization to hunt beasts and make money. The second is to join the army. The army belongs to the higher-ups of the Huaxia Alliance. Su Yen knew that money and beasts were closely related. It was impossible to enjoy life in such a cruel environment without strength. There were many people leaving the city. Su Yen mixed in with the crowd and left the 9th base. Along the way, he could smell the pungent smell of blood, which made people nervous. They did not dare to be careless. This kid is so young. I didn't expect him to be so fast. Some people were surprised and started to pay attention to the young Su Yen. After Su Yen left the group, he ran at an extremely fast speed. Like a cheetah, he disappeared from their line of sight, causing them to exclaim in surprise. However, 3 people who were about the same age as Su Yen followed him. Their speed was not inferior to Su Yan's. The leader was a young man in black. His aura was very strong, and there was a hideous scar on his face. It was obviously left by a beast. Why are you following me? Su Yen stopped and stood on a big rock, staring at the 3 people. The teenager in black didn't say anything. Behind him, a student holding a shiny long sword walked forward and inspected Su Yan's training clothes. He said in a strange tone, "So you are a student from the Ice Academy. You seem to be quite powerful. Come with us, we can take care of each other on the way." Hearing this, Su Yen shook his head. His calm appearance made in Yuandong raise his eyebrows. He pointed at the young man with the scar on his face and said, "This is Tong Gaoyang from the Qinjun Academy. He is at the peak of the awakening realm. Do you see the scar on his face? It was left behind by a Lord-class dire beast." Tong Gaoyang raised his chin proudly. The scar on his face was a symbol of glory. The Lord-level ferocious beast was an expert at the Life Spring realm. Being able to survive under the attack of a Lord-level ferocious beast would make people think highly of him. "Thank you for your kind intentions, but my teacher is waiting for me up ahead. Goodbye." Su Yen replied indifferently as he charged forward again. This scene made in Yuandong's expression turn ugly, especially when Tong Gao's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. He doesn't know how to appreciate favors. Isn't Big Brother Gao Yang courting death by crossing the wilderness alone? A young girl who admired Tong Gaoyang sneered, "Letting him join our team is giving him face. I didn't expect him to not appreciate it." It's good that we don't let him join. After all, that treasure is too precious. It won't do us any good if it's leaked out. And Yuandong snorted. This was just a small interlude, and Su Yen did not take it to heart. The wilderness was very quiet at the moment. If he wanted to enter wilderness number 24, he would have to cross hundreds of miles of forest. It would definitely not be a peaceful journey. In the forest, the smell of blood was very strong. Traces of battle could be seen everywhere. "It's gone." Su Yan's heart trembled. The warmth of the dragon totem had dissipated. He was bewildered. Could it be that the treasure had been taken away? He could not be sure. Su Yen hid in the weeds and scanned the surroundings. He found that his eyesight was very good now. He could clearly see everything within a kilometer. No hurry. It's too dangerous for me to go to wilderness number 24. I'll find a place to train first. Taking out the map from his backpack and confirming his destination, Su Yen set off again. It was almost dawn. Su Yen had already run for 10 miles. He did not encounter any danger along the way, but he did not let his guard down. Just as he crossed a large mountain and rushed forward, Su Yen felt a chill run down his spine. He decisively threw himself to the ground. He could feel a fierce gust of wind attacking him. Su Yen quickly rolled and stood up. He thought that it was a close call. His eyes were also fixed on the wild beast that had pounced on nothing. A tall wild wolf stared at Su Yen with its green eyes. After pouncing on nothing, it rushed towards Su Yen like lightning. If an ordinary person were to see this, they would definitely be scared out of their wits. This wild wolf was also very decisive. Su Yen did not panic. He could not afford to lose his momentum. Otherwise, he would die without a doubt. Rip! The wild wolf was very fast. It swung its claws at Dao Ling. Its strength was so great that it caused the air to explode. Suddenly, Su Yen moved. He was as fast as the wind and rushed forward. He reached out his hand and grabbed the wolf's claws. He also raised his foot and kicked the wolf's belly. Su Yan's heart was pounding. However, the more nervous he was, the clearer his mind was. He frantically calculated the wolf's strength and direction of attack. Under this tense state, Su Yan's blood and qi were boiling like a furnace. The wild wolf was stunned by Su Yan's aura. It was highly intelligent and panicked. It immediately retreated. "Where do you think you're going?" Su Yan shouted. His hand that had grabbed nothing changed into a fist. He leaped into the air like a tiger descending a mountain. His entire fist was filled with powerful energy waves. Collapsing fist. Su Yen waved his fist across the air. Turbulent air waves roared out, causing the air to tremble. The impact caused the fleeing wild wolf to roll on the ground. However, this wild wolf was very fast and escaped after a few rolls. Su Yen did not give chase. Although he could take the wolf's fur and teeth and sell them for money, he could not guarantee that he would encounter other wild beasts if he caused a big commotion. My fist was too slow. I could have killed it with one move just now. After all, this wolf only had the strength of 50 horses. I should have caught it and taken it by surprise. I shouldn't have used my strongest state. There's also the collapsing fist. Punching through the air consumes too much energy. I should not use it if I can. The power is also very weak. Su Yen blamed himself. This wolf could be sold for at least 3,000 yuan. It was a huge sum for him. He did not have a single copper coin on him. Training here is completely different from a martial arts competition. Only by disregarding life and death can one understand one's own shortcomings. Su Yen clenched his fist. He did not choose to go deeper. Instead, he chose to stay and train his combat experience before heading to Base 024. He carefully wandered around the area and explored the terrain. There were indeed many wild beasts here. Thus began Su Yan's first training. He focused on martial arts. By killing wild beasts, he trained his Xingyi fist. At the same time, he tempered his own blood and qi to strengthen his foundation. After an entire day, Su Yen did not gain anything. At night, he trained in the cave. The wilderness was too dangerous at night. Wild beasts roamed about. He could see the peak of the mountain in the distance. There were powerful wild beasts devouring the essence of the sun and moon. "It's out again." When dawn approached, Su Yan's eyes were filled with surprise. The dragon totem burned again. His heart was filled with excitement. It was very likely that the mountain treasure would only appear at night due to special reasons. When dawn approached, the wild beasts that went out to hunt returned to their dens. 3 days passed. Su Yen had figured out the environment within a kilometer radius. Today, he set out and forced his way into a wild beast's cave. He carried a large black stick. This was a weapon forged from high-grade alloy. One swing of the stick was enough to smash a large rock. Roar! The wild wolf angrily roared. It was this human again. However, when the large black stick smashed over, the wild wolf had no time to dodge. Its claws were beaten to the point of bleeding and almost broken. From this, one could see how sturdy this wild wolf was. Pung! Su Yen was ruthless. His fist blasted out like lightning. It was still the crushing fist. He gathered all his strength into his fist, creating a terrifying destructive force. The wild wolf was struck by Su Yen. Its whole body was trembling. Su Yan's powerful fist had cracked its neck, causing it to cry out in pain. Killed. Su Yen was excited. However, looking at the wild wolf's damaged fur, Su Yen laughed. The value of the fur was greatly reduced. He took out a dagger and quickly cut open the useful materials. The process made Su Yen feel disgusted. He bitterly smiled. Slowly get used to it. This dagger is not sharp enough. I need to find a way to earn money to buy some good equipment. Su Yen rested on the spot. He roasted a wolf leg. Looking at the roasted wolf leg, Su Yen was somewhat silent. He had learned how to roast game from the old Tibetan. He could not forget Isi Yun, who had roasted various delicacies with him at the old Tibetan's house. After a long time, Su Yen sighed. Looking at the golden wolf leg and smelling the fragrance, he suddenly felt hungry. After taking a bite, Su Yan's appetite was aroused. He simply wolfed down the entire wolf leg. He was frightened. He ate at least a dozen pounds. His appetite was too frightening. Su Yen immediately felt waves of heat in his body. He sat down cross-legged. His appetite was large, but his digestion was too abnormal. Su Yen used the initial scripture to refine the surging heat in his body. Soon, Su Yen felt as if he had eaten Dali pill. His blood and qi were abundant, and his limbs and bones were emitting yang energy. The poor study while the rich practice martial arts. This is only ordinary meat. What if it was Ganoderma or ginseng? It is said that some large shops sell precious medicinal liquids. It is said that some mutated rice is expensive. Ordinary people cannot afford it. Su Yen sucked in a breath of cold air. Although the flesh of awakened beasts could not be compared to source essence stones, if he ate it from a young age, what would happen when he grew up? If I want to practice martial arts, I must first strengthen my body. Su Yan's eyes shone brightly. He disappeared from the cave and went to his next destination. Time flashed and half a month passed. On top of a cliff, a blood-stained shadow stood. Even from far away, one could feel his biting cold aura. His fists were like lightning as they blasted out in all directions. The vital energy and blood in his limbs and bones were like wild horses that had broken free of their reins, piercingly cold and powerful. Every single move of his was filled with a terrifying deterrent force. Open! Su Yen let out a long roar. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His entire fist bombarded the area in front of him. Under the bombardment of Su Yan's fist, a rock half the size of a man was blown into pieces. Ha ha ha, I should have the strength of 100 horses now. Su Yen laughed. In half a month, his battle strength had increased by a lot. He could control his blood and qi as he wished. His strength had also increased a lot. He had hunted 15 beasts. Su Yen buried his harvest in the mud at the bottom of the cliff. He was ready to cross hundreds of miles to reach Wilderness Area 024. Mountain Treasure, I am coming! Chapter 11. The entire wilderness was huge. The Earth's changes had greatly changed the geography of the territory. Even the news had reported that the Earth's surface area had increased. Some people suspected that there was life on Earth that had grown on its own. Currently, these were still unknown. Only when the Chinese alliance was strong enough would they be able to investigate the Earth's geography. In the wilderness there were mountains one after another. Under the scouring of the essence of heaven and earth, the earth was filled with life. Ancient trees covered the sky, and large mountains stretched across thousands of miles. Damn your grandpa, didn't I just steal a bird's egg? Is there a need for this? Su Yen was complaining incessantly as he frantically fled. Behind him, a terrifying bird was chasing after him. It spread its wings, and a fierce gale swept through the forest. This was definitely a Lord-tier beast. Su Yen had already traversed over 80 miles in the wilderness, but he never expected to encounter such a monster at such a critical juncture. It should be the Jinyu eagle. Su Yen hurriedly glanced at it and discovered that there were some golden feathers on its wings. It was a dazzling sight, and he immediately confirmed that this was definitely a Lord-tier beast, the Jinyu eagle. Following the Jinyu eagle's fury, its wings flapped violently, causing the ancient trees to sway and countless leaves to fly wildly. The Jinyu eagle locked onto Su Yen. Even though Su Yen had thrown away the bird's egg, it was still chasing after him. Su Yen took advantage of the geographical advantage to flee for his life. He was thinking about what to do next. At this moment, his heart trembled. The dragon totem was emitting heat, but this time, it was definitely not for the mountain treasure. Traces of the treasure! Su Yen almost cried. He had come to the wilderness in search of treasure, but after searching bitterly for more than a month, he had not found anything. Now, he had finally encountered one. Run! Su Yen was as fast as the wind as he traversed through the mountains. Because of the Jinyu eagle's strength, the wild beasts here did not dare to compete with it for food. The only thing the dragon totem emitted was getting hotter and hotter. When his arm was about to burn, Su Yen almost fell into a lake. This was a large lake, and in the center of the lake was a small piece of land. This is the place. Su Yen quickly observed the land at the center of the lake. A faint fragrance wafted out from it. Chirp, chirp. At this moment, the Jinyu eagle rushed over. Its huge wings stirred up the wind and waves, causing the lake to surge with high waves. Its cold eyes moved away from Su Yen and looked at the land in the middle of the lake. There were many trees here with luxuriant foliage. As the Jinyu eagle flapped its huge wings, large swathes of ancient trees were uprooted, creating gusts of wind. Hiss! Suddenly, a black tail with a monstrous stench lashed out towards the Jinyu eagle. It contained an extremely powerful force, causing the clouds in the sky to disperse. My goodness, it's a black snake. Su Yan's expression changed drastically. He hid in the rubble and opened his eyes wide to look at the ancient tree where the black snake was lying. This ancient tree was completely red in color and had red leaves all over. However, there were also 3 bright red fruits growing on the ancient tree. This is AF * King Cinnabar fruit. Su Yen was pleasantly surprised. This was an extremely rare heavenly treasure. It was recorded in the Academy's Treasure Encyclopedia that a single cinnabar fruit was worth no less than 100 million yuan. Moreover, there was no market for it. It was impossible to buy it even if one had the money. The cinnabar fruit could strengthen one's qi and blood, extend one's lifespan, and was extremely suitable for tempering one's physical body. The Jinyu eagle also saw the cinnabar fruit. Its eyes turned red on the spot. It let out a sharp cry and swung its huge claws at the black snake's tail. The black snake roared angrily. The cinnabar fruit it had guarded for 10 years was about to ripen. Once it swallowed the fruit, it would evolve into a beast king. This was a bitter battle. Neither the black snake nor the Jinyu eagle would let go of this opportunity. This caused Su Yan's heart to beat faster. He really hoped that both sides would suffer. Rumble! The entire lake was trembling. The Lord-tier monsters were the cream of the crop, and when they fought, their auras could easily shatter the earth and destroy small hills. The 2 monsters were evenly matched in strength. However, the Jinyu eagle had the innate advantage. How could the black snake give up on its opportunity? Their eyes turned red from the battle. They let out furious roars and fiercely collided with each other. Blood splattered everywhere and dyed the lake red. The Jinyu eagle's claws were broken. However, a hideous wound appeared on the black snake's body. It was almost torn in two. Too abnormal. Su Yan's blood boiled as he watched. The black snake let out a long hiss. Its voice was so sharp that it could pierce through gold and crack stone. Its thick body pressed against the ground and cracked it. It raised its head and roared, venting the anger in its heart. The Jinyu Eagle's aura was ice-cold. It attacked again. This time, it swooped down with its wings folded in a defensive stance. It fiercely slammed into the black snake. This power. Su Yan's eyes widened as he stared at the Jinyu Eagle's form. He couldn't help but feel that the eagle form of the Xing-Yi martial arts might be able to draw out one's own blood and qi to transform into an eagle form. This was the Jinyu Eagle's killing move. He originally thought that the black snake would be smashed to death. However, the black snake slyly opened its bloody mouth and spat out a blazing flame onto the body of the Jinyu Eagle. The golden feather eagle let out a painful cry. All the feathers on its body were almost completely burned off. Su Yan was shocked. This was actually a rarely seen water-fire snake. Its combat strength could be said to be one of the strongest ferocious beasts of the same level. The Jinyu Eagle, whose body was spitting fire, was also not simple. Its two large claws viciously tore at the body of the fire-water snake. The fire-water snake's body was torn to shreds. Hiss! Although the fire-water snake's body was torn to shreds, it still fiercely wrapped itself around the Jinyu Eagle. It constantly spat out flames from its mouth, wanting to burn the Jinyu Eagle to death. Su Yan could see the fire-water snake's intentions. Although it was a battle where both sides would be injured, whoever won would be able to obtain the cinnabar fruit. No matter how serious their injuries were, they would be able to recover. Wait! Su Yan's heartbeat quickened. He suppressed the impulse in his heart and lay dormant, waiting. Time slowly passed. With every passing moment, the Jinyu Eagle's aura became weaker. It was tightly wrapped around by the fire-water snake, and its body was charred black. The fire-water snake was also covered in blood. Its aura was weak, and it was nearly exhausted. In the end, the Jinyu Eagle was unable to hold on. It was burned alive by the fire-water snake. Hiss! Just as the fire-water snake was gasping for breath, it raised its head and roared. Its body emitted a bloody stench as its eyes spewed out flames of anger. It saw a white-clothed youth holding a large black iron rod, walking on the waves towards it. The black snake spat out flames to burn Su Yan to death. Su Yan was already prepared for this. He leaped into the air and dodged the flames. Su Yan's aura recovered to its strongest level at lightning speed. His entire body was filled with surging blood and qi. He held the large black iron rod in both hands and dropped down from the sky. He was full of vigor as he smashed towards the dying black snake. Boom! This strike solidly smashed into the black snake's head. It no longer had any strength and could not dodge Su Yan's attack. The large iron rod roared, causing Su Yan's hands to turn numb from the recoil. Purring! Under such a powerful strike, the large black snake's head was torn apart. It was nearly pulverized by Su Yan's strongest strike. Cannon fist! Su Yan roared. He gave up everything as his bones and bones resonated. His entire body's blood and qi were restored as he gathered all his strength into his fist. At this moment, Su Yan's fist was like a human cannonball. It emitted powerful energy fluctuations as it smashed into the black snake's head once again. This strike came from above and smashed down, causing the black snake's head to explode. The black snake's massive body fell to the ground. Its body swayed a few times before it stopped breathing. Su Yan's breathing was heavy. His back was covered in cold sweat. Thinking back to his previous actions, his hair stood on end. He did not know why he had rushed out. I have to be more calm in the future. Although the treasure is good, I need to be alive to take it away. Su Yan's heart raced. If he had failed twice, the one to die would have been Su Yan and not the black snake. That's right. Although the treasure is good, you need to be alive to take it away. At this moment, loud laughter rang out and two figures appeared from the lake. Their mocking eyes stared at Su Yan, their eyes filled with disdain. When they looked at the red fruit, the black snake, and the Jinyu eagle, they were so excited that they almost roared. This was a huge amount of wealth. Not to mention the 3 red fruits, just the 2 lord-level beasts were worth at least a few million yuan. This was equivalent to the income of an awakened with the strength of 100 horses for 3 years. Money was closely related to cultivation. With these resources, there was a high chance of entering the life spring realm. What do you want? Su Yan's expression changed. It was Tong Gaoyang and the others. They had invited Su Yan when they came to the wilderness, but one person was missing. We're rich. We're rich. Ah. And Yuandong trembled with excitement. With the red fruit, would they still need to risk their lives to make money? They had 3 companions. Tong Gaoyang's female companion had died in the mouth of a beast. Who knew when it would be their turn? But with this huge amount of wealth, it was completely different. 3 cinnabar fruits. The scarred Tong Gaoyang suppressed his excitement and said coldly, "To tell you the truth, I found these red fruits a long time ago. The last time I invited you, I was prepared to treat you as food. But I didn't expect you to bring even better food. But you have to die too." So cruel. Su Yan clenched his fists. This was not because of what Tong Gaoyang had just said, but because Tong Gaoyang had decisively waved the long knife in his hand and cut off an Yuandong's head. And Yuandong didn't know who had killed him until he died. He was still immersed in his fantasy of spending money like it was water. One more person to share? I'd rather take them all. I didn't expect to have such an opportunity. 3 red fruit. It's hard to buy them even with hundreds of millions of yuan. These are rare treasures. Tong Gaoyang laughed out loud. He was carrying a long saber that was dripping blood. The scars on his face were vaguely distorted. His eyes stared at Su Yan as he strangely said, "Your name is Su Yan." Chapter 12. What do you mean? Su Yan's heart was in turmoil. Could it be that Tong Gaoyang had seen him before? After all, he had no memory of 100 years. This was the deepest thorn in Su Yan's heart. You still want to argue? Do you have the right to argue in front of me? Tong Gaoyang sneered. The shiny blade on his shoulder glowed with a cold light. Master Tianhua has a confidant who can be considered as my cousin. I heard from my cousin that you made Master Tianhua very angry. I didn't expect you to run here. This is good. I'll capture you and hand you over to Master Tianhua. With this opportunity, I'll be able to soar to the sky in the future. Is that all you know? Su Yan's face turned ugly. Haha, although I don't know what treasure you stole from Master Tianhua, if I hand you over to him, Tong Gaoyang said proudly. He was a struggling awakened at the bottom. If he could make friends with Tao Tianhua, it would be a great opportunity. So that's all you know? Su Yan roared like a beast. What's the use of keeping you alive? Boom. Su Yan's originally weak aura instantly recovered to its peak state. He had swallowed the remaining energy of the Origin Essence Stone and was now standing at his peak state. Under the guidance of the initial scripture, all the pores on Su Yan's body opened up and spewed out beams of golden blood energy. This scene made Tong Gaoyang's face change dramatically. The energy was almost tangible. Had this person stepped into the life spring stage? However, judging from Su Yan's aura, there was a big gap between his aura and the life spring stage. Just as Tong Gaoyang was in disbelief, Su Yan erupted to the strongest level. The golden beam of qi and blood gushed out of his body like a flame rushing into the sky and condensing into a blurry golden bird. The golden bird was a bit blurry, but it was full of power. It spread out waves of turbulent energy and swooped down with an unstoppable force. Martial arts, he has mastered martial arts. Tong Gaoyang was scared. Martial arts were too precious. Who could afford them? It would easily cost millions of Huaxia dollars. These were the combat martial skills developed by human experts after decades of research. It was even said that some martial skills unearthed from ancient ruins were very precious. Even the rich could not afford to buy them. This golden bird swooped down, rolling up the rocks on the ground. This was the whistling of a fierce wind, almost causing Tong Gaoyang to fly out. The main reason was that Su Yan had erupted too quickly. He had used all of his strength to break out of his body and use the eagle form of the form and will fist. When the form and will fist was cultivated to its strongest state, one could transform into various forms of beasts to attack their enemies. Su Yan suddenly thought of using his own blood and qi to transform into an eagle. Just now, he had observed the various forms of the Jin Yu eagle's powers, and it had given him a lot of inspiration. In the end, he really managed to use it. Of course, all of this was due to the help of the initial sutra. Without the initial sutra, it was impossible to draw out the qi and blood in his body. He has the strength of at least 150 horses. Not good. Tong Gaoyang was scared half to death. He had underestimated Su Yan. Su Yan was clearly exhausted just now, so how could he recover so quickly? Boom! The golden ferocious bird charged over and ruthlessly smashed into Tong Gaoyang's body. Under Su Yan's shocked gaze, Tong Gaoyang did not even have the chance to let out a miserable shriek under the impact of this kind of power. How is this possible? Su Yan was dumbstruck. He had killed Tong Gaoyang in one move. Wasn't this martial art too powerful? Of course, it was also related to his strength. When Su Yan rushed towards Tong Gaoyang's corpse, he almost fell to the ground. His forehead was covered in cold sweat. He was very weak. Su Yan had used all of his strength in that attack. Luckily, I made the first move. This Tong Gaoyang dared to come here and fight against the water fire snake. He must have a trump card. Su Yan gritted his teeth and stood up fiercely. He walked to the front and picked up the two heavy combat backpacks. These backpacks were much better than his. They were made from the fur of wild beasts, and the leather was extremely tough. Su Yan was not in a hurry to check his spoils of war. He saw a communication device lying in the pool of blood. Seeing the contents of the communication device, Su Yan's heart trembled. This Tong Gaoyang had contacted Tao Tianhua's subordinates. Su Yan threw the communication device into the lake and quickly picked up the 3 vermilion fruit. How could he give up on the corpses of 2 Lord-level vicious beasts? Su Yan quickly dragged away the Jin Yu eagle and the water fire snake's corpses and threw them into the snake cave. Su Yan's body was almost completely devoid of energy. However, he did not plan to leave this place. The 2 Lord-level vicious beasts had just fought, so there were definitely no low-level beasts nearby. This place was extremely safe. Sigh, I've used up all of the origin essence stones. Sitting cross-legged in the snake cave, Su Yan took out 3 bright red fruit. Smelling the scent of the vermilion fruits, Su Yan's body recovered a lot. He grinned. The harvest this time was too great. 3 cinnabar fruits. Maybe one of them would allow him to stand at the peak of awakening. He did not forget Tong Gaoyang's words. He now had the strength of 150 horses. However, Su Yan had not reached his limit yet. Let's see if there's anything good in their combat backpacks. Su Yan quickly opened them. The combat backpacks were filled with all kinds of spoils of war and precious materials from various wild beasts. At the same time, Su Yan found some bottles and jars in Tong Gaoyang's backpack. Haha, it's medicinal liquid. Su Yan was excited. This was a high-end product that could only be made by alchemists. According to his understanding, there were very few alchemists in the Huaxia alliance. The reason why Tao Tianhua was so powerful was because he was also an alchemist. This is liquefied essence. It's said that 1 drop of liquefied essence costs 100,000 yuan. Liquefied essence can help awakeners increase the speed of awakening. It's even useful for life spring realm cultivators. There were 10 drops of liquefied essence in the bottle. Su Yan drank them all. If this scene was seen by others, they would be heartbroken. This was something that was only used at the most critical moment. However, Su Yan did not care so much. He had 3 vermilion fruits, so what was a little liquefied essence? Clearly, Su Yan's depleted energy was quickly replenished by the liquefied essence. In less than half an hour, Su Yan had recovered to his peak state. There was even some residual energy in the liquefied essence. After refining it, his strength had increased slightly. This moved him. This was too amazing. If he had thousands of drops, his cultivation speed would definitely be abnormal. Bone-nourishing liquid, spirit-cleansing powder. Bone-nourishing liquid can connect broken bones. Spirit-cleansing powder can heal wounds. Oh my, these are all high-end products. When Su Yan saw the last bottle, his face changed. Spirit-cleansing powder? This can't be an aphrodisiac, right? Su Yan shivered. Could it be that Tong Gaoyang wanted to use spirit-cleansing powder to deal with the water-fire snake? No wonder Tong Gaoyang was so ruthless as to kill his companion. Su Yan sighed. The world had changed, and so had people's hearts. Now, who didn't want to become strong? As long as one became strong, they would be able to enjoy endless glory and wealth. There was only one shortcut to becoming strong, and that was to have enough wealth to buy all kinds of resources to increase one's strength. For example, liquefied essence. A single drop would cost 100,000 Chinese dollars. Su Yan began to dissect the 2 vicious beast corpses. Fortunately, Tong Gaoyang's dagger was forged from a high-end alloy. Otherwise, dissecting them would have been a difficult task. These 2 Lord-class monster materials can be sold for a lot of Chinese dollars. I want to buy some weapons and liquefied essence. I'm not in a hurry to eat the vermilion fruit. I don't know how to eat it. Su Yan thought to himself. Wandering around the wilderness with such precious materials, Su Yan couldn't be at ease. He might as well sell them off and exchange them for useful treasures. That way, he would have more assurance when heading to Wilderness Area number 24. Right, let's go to the Underground Trade Union. Su Yan decided. The Underground Trade Union was the largest trade union in the Huaxia Alliance. It was jointly established by more than 10 elite families. Transactions were absolutely safe, and the information of the customers was strictly confidential. If it was leaked, the entire Underground Trade Union would hunt you down. Adventurers in the wilderness were all keen to trade with the Underground Trade Union. This was because the Underground Trade Union was located in every major wilderness area. The Underground Trade Union, Huaxia University, and the Martial Artist Association. These were the 3 strongest powers in the Huaxia Alliance. Needless to say, the Underground Trade Union and Huaxia University, the Martial Artist Association, was the place where most independent fighters gathered. The main reason was that there were no restrictions. Many students who graduated from high schools would choose to join the Martial Artist Association. There were also many other powers, big and small. However, these 3 powers were known to all. The strongest was Huaxia University. This was the place where young geniuses gathered. Su Yan took out a map. 30 li to the east was an underground trade union base. Every base was guarded by experts to ensure its safety. In the past, there had been incidents of wild beasts attacking underground bases. However, since the Underground Trade Union dared to build a base here, they definitely had defensive measures. Under normal circumstances, the base would not be breached. Su Yan found a place to hide the flesh of the Jinyu eagle and the aqua fire snake. Then, he immediately set off. Su Yan had left the school for more than a month. Jiada's expression was very ugly. Half a month ago, he could not help but kick open Su Yan's dormitory door. In the end, Su Yan disappeared. Su Yan's future was closely linked to Jiada's. Su Yan's disappearance made Jiada very angry. They didn't even get the mountain treasure. Could it still be in base 024? They wouldn't lie. Tao Tianhua was not in the mood to deal with Su Yan. For more than a month, he had been secretly investigating the whereabouts of the mountain treasure. He felt that the mountain treasure was still in base 024. It should have been taken by a beast king. It was too difficult to deal with a beast king. Even if Tao Tianhua had the ability to kill it, beast kings were very intelligent. If he provoked other beast kings, it would be very troublesome. Moreover, Tao Tianhua could not let other strong people participate in this matter. At this time, a man with a fierce aura walked in. He was wearing heavy armor and had a cold expression. Ma Zhoushan was in his 30s. He was one of Tao Tianhua's most capable subordinate. The aura around him was like that of a terrifying beast. There is only one beast king in base 024. It is also the most difficult to deal with. It is about to transform into a dragon. If we want to deal with it, we need the old man's help. Ma Zhoushan's words made Tao Tianhua frown. He said, I'm afraid it's not possible now. The major schools are in the middle of the exam. They can't leave. However, Tao Tianhua said, what does a wild beast know about the mountain treasure? It was Master Zhu Yan who told me about it. Then we can only wait. Ma Zhoushan smiled. There is something very interesting. That insect went to the wilderness. Went to the wilderness? Tao Tianhua was stunned. Ma Zhoushan told him what happened. He then frowned. The communicator was disconnected. I think there is a problem. Haha, the source essence stone is not an ordinary item. Your subordinate's cousin won't be able to deal with Su Yan. Tao Tianhua said fiercely. This insect knows how to refine the source essence stone. If I don't kill him, I won't be satisfied. Now that he is in the wilderness, how hard can it be to deal with him? Go through my internal network and find out where the communicator was last seen. Even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground, you have to find him. Okay, give me a few days. I will bring his head back. Ma Zhoushan nodded. With Tao Tianhua's position in the Huaxiao Alliance, it was easy for him to find the coordinates of Tong Gaoyang's communicator. No, don't kill him. Tao Tianhua sneered. Su Yan seems to be related to the female Shura. Bring him back. I want to interrogate him personally.